Welcome everybody to a totally normal, no nonsense episode of the Spillin It pod. My mic is way over here. Let's try this again.
It's all good. It's all good.
Little spring break edition here, spring break.
Sprang
Jesse and I are
bike.
wearing our casual apparel. For Jesse, this was probably a little bit different of a setup. For me, my challenge was I mean, I don't know what you've got like some good Hawaiian shirts in your
Oh yeah.
collection, but I had like way too many. I was trying to figure out if I could do the outfit change like I did last week, and I was like, no, that's too much. Like I gotta just. So we've got surfing Batman is what I settled on. I was torn between five. This is what we went with.
I
Jesse,
love
you
it.
look dapper as always.
Thank you, thank you. Had to pull out the Primark chain for this one. And you know, I think I got it for $4 at the
Yeah,
store. Pretty
I've
good
got
stuff.
the mineral sunscreen on my nose just so that when your takes are flaming hot, that I don't get
You're
singed.
protected.
I'm protected. Guys, we're doing something a little bit different this week. We have no idea how it'll go, but I think it's the perfect mix of informed analysis, and we have no clue, but we're going to talk like we do, which is really the bread and butter of our podcast.
And that's why you're here, frankly.
And that's why you're here. We're going to do some bracket challenges. Now, for some some bracket predictions, I guess. Technically, it is a challenge, and which of us will do better in which bracket, which we will track, of course, because we will be
Oh
filling
yes.
out these brackets that Jesse printed at CVS.
Got him here.
Jesse's got his stuck. Mine, the blur behind me is wreaking havoc, but it is a sticker that I'm gonna have to put somewhere. I was like, I need to fill it out like it's a document and then stick it somewhere. But
I like it. I like it.
Jesse got probably the greatest deal in the history of CVS. So good that it put my I almost said clerk. That's not a word normal people use. But the lady that checked me out, um, she was like, "Dang, that's a good deal. I gotta order some stuff." And I was like, "Yeah,
Uh-huh.
let me put you on game."
90% off.
This is
90% off for these.
also probably like the fifth or sixth time that Jesse has ordered something to a CVS or Walgreens that I have to then go pick up, and I don't always have a great idea of what I'm picking up. And so they're like, "Is it XYZ?" And I'm like, sure, I don't really
Sure.
know. Like,
It's a surprise to all of us,
it's a
frankly.
surprise to all of us. But
Some of it's serious, like some engagement pictures, some, post-wedding pictures, some cool stuff. And then there's just some abominations that I have sent you over time that I pay for. I don't send to the store to make him pay for it, folks. I pay for it myself, but I make him go in and ask for it, and it's
what
under
was
his name.
what was the one that just like was just warped beyond comprehension? Do you remember? I remember being so offended by its existence, but I don't remember what it was.
I do. It was an AI picture
That's right.
of you and Cheyenne with a baby, except I had superimposed my face on the baby.
That's right. Yeah. I don't
Yes.
know where that is in our home, but
You better still have it,
I do
or
have it
it's
somewhere. It goes against every principle I have, but it was
likewise as an artist, but
it
it
was the
needed to be done.
experience to pick that up. All right, guys, if you haven't seen the brackets, this will probably, I would like to put this episode out either Tuesday or Wednesday before the first round starts, obviously. Probably tomorrow, Tuesday. So if you're listening to this and it's on Wednesday, I'm a liar. But we're going to go through game by game, make some picks. We're going to have some analysis. Some of these teams we know a little bit about, some of these teams we don't know jack about, and we're going
Hmm.
based off vibes. But I was gonna say as you can see, but we got blank brackets here. So Jesse, I'm sure has filled out a bracket already for. Have you done a like your actual bracket?
Nope.
Okay, so I did do one, but
Okay,
like
okay,
not mostly because I created the work contest. But I kind of just ran through and made picks just so it would
okay,
save, so I could create
okay.
I haven't really made a bracket yet, so I'm
Let's see what
excited
you say.
to get going.
All right, so I got the ESPN app up here, and that's just kind of the order that I'm going to take with however they have it. We can fill in the brackets as we go here. So the first four, are you wanting to do the first four, the playing games, I'm guessing?
If we're gonna pick the whole brackets, Jesse,
Let's do it.
we might as well.
Let's do it. So the first one is the battle for the 11th seed. We got NC State and Texas. For this one, NC State is a point and a half favorite going into this game, With that being said, Texas does play in the SEC. I know that's been kind of a thing that people talk about a lot.
This means more.
Basketball doesn't mean as much as it does in football.
Well,
That being
honestly, I
said,
would argue against that. I would say
ooh,
basketball wise, it's meant more recently than football. I mean, the last three national champions in football are from the Big Ten, but last year's
that's true.
title winning team was from the SEC, and
That's
we've
fair.
had
That's fair.
a couple different programs make the Final Four in recent years.
That is fair. So with that being said, I am going to take NC State for this one, and I don't really have a significant reason for it other than Vegas is picking them as a 1.5 favorite, which means next to nothing in college basketball. But I'm going to go ahead and take NC State.
Sure. That's where you're wrong, though, is I'm taking Texas. Not just because of my wife, but because Texas actually has a lot of talent on this team. So does NC State. But Texas, and this is where like my ignorance showing because I don't have Texas's page pulled up in front of me. So I'm just kind of talking right now to buy myself some time for my Google search to complete. But Texas
Be a great
actually
time
has
for an ad break.
it would be I like 4 seconds into the podcast, we've just got our ad break. Texas has actually played some decent basketball this year, and Jesse, they have the head-to-head already against NC State.
Okay.
Now, that was a game played in November of 2025, so a lot has happened since then. But Texas has wins against Alabama, Vanderbilt, Georgia. They did lose to a poverty program like Auburn, which is tough. And they are coming in on a three-game losing streak, which goes against my convention on this podcast. However, they've shown the ability to play and beat top quality teams. So, and I promise I'm not going to talk for 4 minutes about every team.
Hey, we
I just
appreciate the
actually had a
analysis
reason for
here.
Texas. So,
All right, this next one, SMU versus Miami of Ohio, another battle for the 11th seed. And, you know, the records don't tell the story of this season clearly. When you look at Miami of Ohio and that Maction over there at 31 and 1 and SMU at 20 and 13, they actually have SMU as 7 point favorites in this one. With that being said, I think it's been a really fun story watching Miami of Ohio kind of prove a lot of people wrong throughout the year. This one could end up biting me in the behind, but it's a first four game, and I really don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. I'm going to go ahead just for the fun of it. I'm taking Miami.
yeah, Miami is 31 and 1. They deserve to be in this tournament. They've also played absolutely nobody all season.
No one. No one.
I'm a firm believer that if you win 31 games and you have an undefeated regular season, in the especially this year where the bubble is weak and we're talking about, and I know I hate Auburn, right? But we could not like we're talking about like a 17 and 16 Auburn team
Right.
as a bubble team. Like I'm sorry, you need to be more than one game above 500 to be in this
Correct.
tournament
Correct.
unless you win the automatic bid, which will come into play later. But yeah, I'm going with Miami. I think they're probably going to get the doors beaten off of them, but they're such a fun story. You got to
Just
go with the
fun.
Redhawks.
Right. Third matchup is one of the 16 seed games. We got Howard versus UMBC. Those of you that follow college ball, you remember UMBC was the first 16 seed ever to win against the number one seed in a tournament. Very different squad, obviously. I was still living in a very small apartment in central Indiana at that time. A lot has happened since that, so very different program. They are
Awesome.
2 point favorites going up against Howard. This one, strictly going based off of the mascots. I love the fact that UMBC are the Retrievers, so I'm taking them all the way.
Yeah, I am taking them solely based off their Twitter admin game, which is really good. And if you are bored, go look at their Twitter account right now. They've just been like absolutely dunking on people that have been in their replies. That's pretty much all they ever do, the UMBC Athletics account, and that's enough for me to choose them in this first four game that tips off on this tomorrow at 6:45. So.
All right, our last first four game is Lehigh versus Prairie View, and Lehigh has had a bit of a history of making some noise in the tournaments. They're 4 point favorites against Prairie View. I'm taking Lehigh in this one.
I'm gonna go Prairie View, and again, I have literally no reason to believe that they're better than Lehigh. But Lehigh has done stuff in the tournament more recently than Prairie View, so for that reason, Prairie View's due, baby. Give me the whatever they are, the marmosets maybe.
Marmosets, I love it.
Prairie View mascot. You move forward while I look this up.
Alrighty, we're getting into
Yes.
the first round here, and we are going to follow this brackets top to bottom on the left side, and we're going to go top to bottom on the right side. For those of you following along at home and are waiting for our picks and our analysis to make your picks, which I could not advise against anymore, please
I
fill
said
it
in the
on your
car on the
record.
way home from work today, I was like, if there were awards for podcasts that we were invited to, we would be a home run in the most confidently wrong
And you know
comma
what?
new media.
That's why people are watching. That's
That's
why
right.
we got the views, man.
All
So
10
this first
states.
game is Duke and Siena. Duke is currently a 29-point favorite. There have been games where the 16 seed has lost. It's happened twice, where the 16 seed has
I
won,
was about to
rather.
say there's been a lot of games where the
It's been a
16.
lot of those where they've lost.
Duke
For this
can do
one,
it. Plucky old Duke.
I'm not spending any more time on this one. Duke is going to sleepwalk through this one.
Yeah, I read this on somebody's predictions. I don't remember who it was, but they were like, the 16 seed has won twice, so it can be done, but it's not worth picking in a bracket because it's only been done twice, and this is definitely not a situation where I'm going to buck that convention. I got Duke.
Right. Next one, we got Ohio State and TCU, the 8 versus 9 seed. The winner of this gets the lovely opportunity to get their doors blown off by Duke in round two. But with that being said, I really don't have a strong preference for either one, Big Ten versus Big 12. I think the Big Ten has a tougher basketball schedule overall. Ohio State did squeak in with a pretty decent performance in the tournaments. They are 3-point favorites. That being said, weird things happen in March. That's why we're here. I'm taking TCU, and I have literally no statistical reason to do so.
So I do actually, thanks to
All right.
ESPN's bracket predictor.
Do it.
What I do know about Ohio State is that they've got Bruce Thornton, who averages almost 21 points a game. They're pretty good, and they've beaten a lot of really good teams in the last month: Purdue, Wisconsin, Indiana, Iowa, and then they almost beat Michigan. Only a 4-point loss there a couple days ago. However, TCU has eight that average at least 8 points a game. It's pretty balanced, and their defense is really good. And I think that shooting and guard play really is what generally wins you in March. But I like the idea of the bench mob from TCU from a tougher conference this season. I think the Big 12 was the best conference in basketball, and so I'm going to ride with the Horned Frogs.
Alrighty. We got the next one is 5 versus 12, and we have seen historically the 5 and 12 matchups be the ones that cause the most chaos. Frankly, when it comes to upsets. When I look at this one between St. John's and Northern Iowa, there is a lot of discrepancies when it comes to statistics. And the one that I'm really kind of circling here is going to be the rebound game. St. John's averages over 38 and a half rebounds a game versus 32-ish for Northern Iowa. I think in this point, possessions matter, and you get more possessions, typically you're going to have better results. So for this one, I'm taking St. John's.
Yeah, yeah. UNI plays a much slower brand of basketball, and than the aptly named Red Storm of St. John's. And I think that this is an upset where St. John's has not played up to muster the entire season, but they had a kind of a flame out last year and have played some of their best ball of late. So I would definitely ride with the Storm in this one as well.
All right. We got 4-13, which in recent years, we've actually seen more 4-13 upsets than we did previously. I think probably in the early 2010s or so. We've seen more of those 13 seeds be a little more plucky. We got Kansas, an absolute blue blood of college basketball, going up against CA Baptist. And currently, the matchup predictor for this one has Kansas on a 92.6% chance to win. That being said, Dominic Daniels Jr. is averaging 23 points for CA Baptist. I do want to shout him out because that's not easy to do at any level of basketball. That being said, I do think this one's going to be pretty easy for Kansas to take.
Yeah, the California Baptist Lancers are plucky for sure. They're a very gritty defensive team, and Dominique Daniels is a stud. He's got a game of 41 points in the conference tournament that just concluded for whatever conference they're in. I don't remember off the top of my head, and this predictor does not say. But yeah, Kansas will probably get about 15 minutes from Darren Peterson, but I think that 15 will be enough. I'm
Right.
taking the Jayhawks.
We got 6 versus 11. This is not a play-in one. This is a true 6 versus 11 here. We got Louisville and University of Southern Florida, USF, making the tournament this time. And this one I went back and forth on a bit, just looking at the raw statistics. One thing that sticks out to me about USF, they're averaging over 9 steals a game as a team. And I
Yeah.
think that kind of chaos on the defensive end, especially in this kind of tournament environment, that stuff can snowball, especially in a first round game where you're not expecting it. I'm going with my first upset here, and I am taking Southern Florida to take down Louisville.
Yeah, I've also got South Florida. They are a very balanced team and they play their starters heavy, which is just really I know I just applauded another team's depth in a different game, but if you've got five guys that you can trust to play 30 minutes and 35 minutes in a game, that especially two guards that have good three-point shooting, and then you couple that with Louisville, who Michael Brown Jr. is their best player, their star freshman. He missed the ACC tournament. They are 16-5 with him, 7-5 without him. So just not really knowing what his health status is makes me go with the upset as well, which is gonna be kind of lame if we pick the same upsets, but
It'd be hilarious.
I'm sure we'll have some
I'm sure
variance.
we'll have something. Michigan State and North Dakota State, 3 versus 14 is our next matchup for this one. And North Dakota State, good season, and they're averaging over 80 points a game as an offense, but I think they're going to run into an absolute buzzsaw with this one. Jeremy Fears Jr. is averaging over 9 assists a game in a collegiate season, is absolutely crazy, considering also he plays in the Big Ten. For this one, I'm not going to spend much more time. Michigan State.
Yeah, I think Michigan State is tremendous. They've got some weird, like, kind of vibes for a team that's as good as they are, but just a lot of like weird, like off-court things that they've had. But they're a very good team, and shout out to North Dakota State, program record 27 wins this year. Don't expect them to be the latest upset in Tom Izzo's history. I think that the Spartans are going to keep dancing in this one.
Okay. We got our first 7-10 matchup, UCLA versus UCF. And if you're not familiar with my game, obviously I know I've been telling y'all I'm an Indiana fan, I'm an Indiana guy. Can't root for them because they've completely and utterly disappointed me this season in basketball. I'll trade it for the football chip though. Secondary is I actually have my master's degree from the University of Central Florida. So go Knights and charge on. So for this one, I really was trying to find a way that I could call a UCF win here. I'll be honest. I was trying to be biased in this one. But looking at the statistics here, they're averaging more points than UCLA. Their field goal percentage is the same. They out rebound them. Their assists are pretty close to the same. Their blocks are about the same. And UCLA is a little better stealing the ball. That being said, UCF has had a very weird season. They stormed out at the beginning of the year with a bunch of wins. They stumbled through the middle of it, and they finally were able to kind of piece it back together. Just going with my boys. I got to go with my Knights, and UCF is taking a win.
Yeah, I really wanted to get there with UCF. I did end up picking UCLA. I think this is a very coin flip game, and I don't feel super confident in the UCLA pick. UCF is battle tested and has beaten some big teams. UCLA struggled a bit in the season, and then has turned it around with some impressive wins over the last month and a half. So I am going to ride with the Bruins, but I could very easily see the Knights taking this one. But I'm going UCLA.
Right. And our last one for this region is going to be Yukon and who is that? Furman.
Furman.
Yep. And Yukon's a 21-point favorite on this one. And really, to me, this one is going to come down to efficiency. The top scorer for Furman is currently shooting about 46%. Pretty good, but that 32% from three worries me. He is a freshman. Be on the lookout for him. His name's Alex Wilkins. But this one, it's Yukon. Yukon all the way.
So Furman is in the top 15 nationally at 2-point percentage, which normally would make them a really trendy profile for a upset, but UConn is playing really damn good ball right now,
Mhm.
and they have really strong interior defense, which does not bode well for Furman. It's definitely possible this would be. I don't know if this would rank above or below the Virginia upset they had several seasons ago. Obviously, very different clubs, but I'm gonna go with UConn. Unfortunately, I don't know that the Paladins have the mustard for this one, but I don't know. UConn. is kind of weird to me because like I don't they have the capability to go really far, but I also wouldn't be shocked if they just like laid an egg in a
It's a
game.
weird year. It's a weird year for
Yeah,
sure.
for a two
All
seed,
right.
you know.
We're moving into the South Regional games being played in
South
Houston. We got Florida taking on the winner of the Lehigh Prairie View game. I know we had different winners for that one. That being
probably
said,
will impact our choice here. Yeah.
yeah, I don't think it's really going to make a huge difference with that. So I'm taking the Gators. They're the defending champions. Do I think they're going to win it all? We'll see. But with that being said, I do think they're going to handle this one.
Yeah, I'm also going to take the Gators. Shout out to my Prairie View Panthers. I'm sure you'll make it competitive. This strikes me as one of those ones where it's going to be like a weirdly close game the first 12 minutes and then Florida just like pulls it out. And but
Steamrolls.
there's nothing like that first 12 minutes where you're like, "Oh man, these boys are here to play," and then the
It's going to
talent comes
happen. It's going
out.
to happen.
But shout out to Prairie View, who I'm assuming will dispatch the Lehigh Patriots.
All right, next one, we got the 8-9 matchup of Clemson and Iowa. Should be a pretty interesting one. This one is a toss-up as far as the odds go. It's a point and a half in favor of Iowa, and the matchup predictor pretty much has it 50-50 on ESPN as well. When I look at the overall statistics here, the rebounding advantage goes to Clemson, but the passing and steals advantage go to Iowa. And Iowa has been playing some pretty bad ball lately. They've lost four out of their last five overall. Clemson has won three out of their last five. They lost by 12 to Duke in the tournaments, but they did beat North Carolina. Bit of a mixed bag for both teams here, but I think the vibes are just kind of bad for Iowa at this point. I'm taking Clemson.
Yeah, these are two interesting teams where Clemson started really well and then just faded a little bit. But like you said, both teams did. Neither team is really coming into the tournament red hot. Clemson is one of those teams, though. They have their leading scorer averages 11.9 points per game, and they have nine guys that play 18 plus minutes. Depth is good, but in March you need at least one guy that's going to step up and be able to get a bucket when you need it. And in a game where I'm not really sure which team I think is actually better, I'm going to defer to the best bucket getter in the on the floor, and that's Bennett Sturts on Iowa, who is definitely a certified bucket getter. He did struggle a little bit late as he started getting doubled more, but I'm gonna roll with Iowa in this one, though neither team it's kind of a mid-off for me. Like these teams both looked a lot better at the beginning of the season than they finished.
Right. Our next one, another 5 versus 12. We got Vanderbilt versus McNeese State here. And I really like what I've seen from Vanderbilt lately. I think they've been playing teams extremely hard, and I think they figured out some things about themselves within the conference tournament. They are 11-point favorites. This is no slouch to McNeese State. Good season from them, but I am taking Vandy on this one.
Yeah, Vanderbilt, it's easy to forget, started the season 16-0 and then finished 10-8. But they did have an impressive run there in the conference or in the SEC tournament, all the way to the conference championship against Arkansas, which included an impressive win against Florida, the one seed in this region. McNeese does force turnovers on almost 25% of opponent possessions, and Vanderbilt runs heavily through its guards. So it really comes down to if the guards can play mistake-free basketball or at least limit their mistakes, then I think they have this one in the bag. If they get forced into a bunch of bad decisions, this could easily be a big upset. I am going to roll with Vanderbilt, but McNeese is on my watch list for sure.
Right. We have the 4-13 of the South region, Nebraska versus Troy. And Troy, the dog, if you can hear me, this has
He
nothing to
is
do with you.
licking himself in the other room, so he can
Hey,
lie.
you know what? Good boy. This has nothing to do with you, my son, but I think Nebraska is playing some really solid ball overall. They have lost two out of their last three. They did get dismantled by Purdue during the tournament, but good season from them. I'm taking Nebraska to get out of the first round.
Yeah, Nebraska, like Vanderbilt, started red hot. They were 20-0 at the start to start the year, and then are 6-6 in their last 12. Nebraska also famously has never won an NCAA tournament game. That
That's
is
incredible
not
to me.
nothing. I do think that they'll get it done against Troy. I don't really see anything there that makes me think that they are going to pull off this upset. They're one of their best players, a big post guy, Theo Sang, has missed the last couple games with an injury. If he doesn't play, I feel like they don't have a shot. And even if he does, coming off of a knee injury, I'm going to take Nebraska for program history, but That's not an insignificant monkey on their back.
No, that is not. That's a demon right there. Right, our 6-11 for this one is also a true 6-11. There's no playing game for this one. UNC taking on VCU. I'm going to take one out of your book here. VCU has been red hot, won their last five at least, just even looking at their schedule here. I'm sure I could go further back and see, but VCU looked excellent during the tournament, ran through the A10. UNC is only a 2-point favorite despite being seated five spaces ahead. So Vegas definitely is looking at VCU kind of like, this could happen here. So I'm going with another 11 seed here. I'm taking VCU.
I'm also taking VCU. Um, North Carolina definitely has a lot of talent still, but not having Caleb Wilson, who's a projected top five pick in the NBA draft, they're 5-3 without him, and they still have a lot of talent. But VCU is a team that makes its money at the free throw line and from beyond the arc. And that definitely lends itself well to coming out hot in a couple games, especially in this opening weekend of the tournament. Teams that shoot the ball really well can catch teams off guard because there's really nothing you can do. I mean, you can play great defense, but if the guys hit shots, they hit shots. And then the second weekend is where you see a lot of those underdogs typically falter because teams have more time to game plan against them. So I'm going to roll with VCU. They're playing hot. They're better than St. Louis, and they're looking like a team that could take UNC. Sorry,
Right.
Jesse, I had to snipe at your dogs.
Hey, you know what? I have completely fallen off that wagon.
It was a short-lived
It was.
bandwagon.
I thought I had something there. We have the 3 versus 14, Illinois versus Penn. And for this one, I am taking Illinois, but things could happen here because Penn has won their last five, and obviously they're playing in the Ivy League. Even if they lose this game, they're still winning. They're going to be fine, right? They're going to be doing better than just about all of us. But Illinois, when they've been playing some top tier teams, I have not been impressed. I mean, they got dog walked by Michigan not too long ago by 14. I'm not really feeling it.
14 is a dog walk. You're crazy.
Right. So to me, looking at Penn's schedule, they had to go to overtime to beat Harvard and Yale during the Ivy League tournament. There's nothing really here statistically that is putting me wanting them to put them on upset watch here. So I am taking Illinois, but I am not completely sold on Illinois as a 3 seed.
I want to shout out TJ Power of Penn, who scored 44 points in the title game and then posted a dummy photo with a statue of Ben Franklin on campus. They do
I
not
love
have
that.
it. I actually am a lot higher on Illinois than you. I know that they haven't necessarily had the big wins of late, but they're the most efficient offense in the country, and they're one of the best in the nation at forcing turnovers on defense. And they've got Peja Stojakovic's son. So
That does make a difference.
that's enough for me. I'm riding with the Illini in at least this matchup.
Right. We got our 7-10 matchup here. It's gonna be St.
St.
Mary's
Mary's and A&M.
versus Texas A&M. I'm taking A&M on this one, the 10 over the 7, which not a significant upset, but what I really like, A&M's got an offense. They're averaging almost 88 points a game, and sometimes that's enough to play. You get to tournament time, you just need to outscore some people. I know the game slows up a little bit, but to me, that feels like enough to get through the first round.
See, I'm taking St. Mary's. They play a really strong defense and they hit a lot of threes. They're very good on the offensive glass, which definitely makes a difference. I think that A&M is if A&M survives this, they definitely have a shot to make a couple to win a couple games and surprise some people. Their defense is also a turnstile, and they lost all four games against the top 25 that they had. St. Mary's is pretty reliable in March, and I'm going to count on them at least for one more here.
All right. We got Houston taking on Idaho. Not going to spend a lot of time here. Idaho, thank you for your potatoes, but basketball is not going to be your thing this
No
year.
love for the Vandals.
No love for the Vandals right now. Kingston Fleming's freshman guard from Houston here is him, 16.4 points, almost 5.5 assists. I think Houston's rolling.
This is Idaho's first tournament appearance since 1990.
That's good. I love a good story.
Seven players have hit at least 25 threes. They're going to need every one of those players to hit
They're
25
gonna
threes,
they're gonna need
probably to
all
win
of
this
them.
game. Houston they're the defending runner-ups, and they have a lot of the talent from last year still. Obviously, their senior leaders, Emmanuel Sharp and Milos Uzan, as well as highlighted Kingston Flemings, who's really good. They're great offense, they're great defense. Houston has the potential to make a run. Obviously, they're a two seed, but they're probably going to snuff out the Vandals, sadly.
Right, we're moving to the West region, top right of the bracket for those of you following along at home. These games are going to be played in San Jose. We got Arizona versus Long Island University for this first matchup here. Arizona 30-point favorites, 99% chance to win. This is going to be a shoot around for them. I'm taking Arizona.
That's so disrespectful. Damn. Um, LIU actually didn't even have to win its conference championship to make this because its championship opponent was who I don't remember who that was, but they were deemed ineligible. So they didn't even have to win that game, but they did anyway.
We love a consolation spot.
The Sharks are great. They're no shot. Arizona is, I mean, they're a one seed obviously, but I think they're pound for pound the best team in the country this year, and they're probably not going to be the third one seed to lose.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that happen here. All right, we got Villanova and Utah State. And I vowed years ago to not pick Villanova for really anything ever again if it came down to it. They have burned me so many times trying to pick them in brackets stemming from when I was a child. So because of that trauma, I'm taking Utah State.
Yeah, I mean, it's a popular pick. They're actually 2.5 point favorites despite being the lower seeded team. This, I think, could be one of the best games in the first round. I think these are just two really quality basketball teams. I am going to take Villanova. I like what Duke Brennan is doing down low. It could definitely go either way, and I'm sure I won't regret taking Nova, but I'm going to go with Nova for now.
Alrighty. We have a 5 versus 12 seed here. We got Wisconsin versus High Point University. And I need you to walk with me here. All
This
right.
is not as crazy as you're about to sell it as.
I need you to walk with me. High Point averaging 90 points a game, as you described a different team earlier. Turnstile defense, absolutely. However, 49% from the field actually out rebounds Wisconsin. Now, different circumstances, obviously, different physicality that they're playing, but currently has a higher rate of assists, blocks, and steals, almost by two against Wisconsin. 10.9 versus 5.7 steals. Active hands getting into the passing lanes. I'm taking my first 12 over 5 seed here. I'm taking High Point over Wisconsin.
I respect that because 34 of the last 40 tournaments have had a 12 seed defeat a 5 seed. 5 seeds are only 64% win rate against the 12, which is actually kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And I do think that the Panthers of High Point are very, very good. They're top five and top 10 in the nation in turnover percentage on offense and defense, which means that, they're always a pesky team. Wisconsin's just got some really good guards, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna roll with the Badgers. I think that they have a lot of potential to make a run here. They do have a brutal next matchup, which we'll get to, but I like High Point. I don't think they pull it off.
Right. This next one, we got the 4 versus 13, Arkansas versus Hawaii. And I got 3 words, Darius Acuff Jr. That's all I need. That's all I'm looking at for this matchup. He is carrying them to this victory. They're 16-point favorites. Arkansas is taking it.
Yeah, that boy, nice. Um, I do think it is a really brutal draw for Hawaii because they actually are a pretty solid team. They're a great defense, and they've got a senior 7-footer that is actually really good. In Isaac Johnson. But yeah, Darius is that guy. So I think I'm gonna roll with Arky for a bit.
Right. Let me look at this here. We got all right. This next one is the 6-11 BYU taking on the winner of the Texas and
Texas and
NC
NC
State.
State.
Yeah, Texas NC State. Um, for this one, I'm taking BYU. DeBonsta is a freak of nature. I think he should go number 1 in the draft. I'm taking BYU.
I am taking Texas,
Okay.
which is
Okay.
partially why I laid out such an elaborate case for Texas
I respect it.
um,
I respect it.
in the first four. BYU, I think, is getting the sixth seed based on two things: Debansa and the way that they played in the beginning of the season, but they have not played particularly well down the latter half of the season. And I'm just for all the reasons I made, points I made about Texas, I'm gonna take Texas. I do
Okay.
not trust BYU. I would have probably taken NC State over BYU.
Okay. We
They
got
give me
Gon
extreme like when Georgia had Anthony Edwards and just was a bad team.
yeah,
BYU's a little bit better than that, but
that's fair. That's
I think he's a Cadillac parked in a carport.
fair. I love that meme. Right, we got 3 versus 14, Gonzaga and Kennesaw State's. Gonzaga heavy favorites, 19 points, 96% chance to win according to ESPN Analytics. And honestly, I'm looking at their roster right now, and I like what I see. I think they're a complete team. Graham Ike, senior, averaging almost 20 points a game, 8 rebounds. I'm taking the Zags.
You know what? As we're going through this bracket, I'm also going to take Gonzaga, but I'm just noticing how many notable results for these teams involve games against Alabama.
Right.
Reminding me once again how brutal of a schedule the Crimson Tide played this year.
They really did.
I mean, Kennesaw State is a conference champion NCAA tournament team, and Alabama had to play them in December. Anyway, yeah, Ike is really good. Braden Huff, if he can come back and play, who he's missed the last 2 months, he's really good as well. I am gonna roll with Gonzaga. They just, for all the hand wringing about how far they go, they don't lose in the first round.
Right. We got Miami and Missouri 7-10 matchup for this one. And I don't know. I kind of like how Miami's playing this year. They got a little swagger to them, and it's a 7-10 matchup. I think it really doesn't matter who wins this one. They're going to lose in round two, so I'm taking Miami.
Miami plays a lot of physical, grind out games. I think Missouri is they are one of the best rebounding teams in the country. They do turn the ball over like they're addicted to it. Um, but Miami played a lot of one score games. Over half of them were decided by 10 or fewer, and four of their eight losses were by one possession. I don't know. For me, I'm gonna roll if I'm expecting a tight game, I'm gonna go with the team I think is gonna grab the board. I'm gonna pick Mizzou, but should be a good one.
And last one for this region is Purdue versus Queens, 2 versus 15 seed. Purdue started showing me a little more than they did the last time,
Yeah,
and
they did.
that they have in recent games. Braden Smith's going to probably break that assist record at some points. I am taking the Boilermakers.
Yeah, and this is good timing because we're finishing up this region here with 1 minute left on the clock for Zoom. Shout out to Queens. They're actually based out of Charlotte, the Queens Royals, which is just an elite name. Um, they had a great season, but it's their first year eligible, by the way, to make the tournament. But Purdue
Incredible.
just beat Michigan in the Big Ten championship, and so that's going to buy me at least two or three wins for Purdue.
I love
All
it.
right, on the other side of this break, we're going to get to our last region and just keep plucking. All right, welcome back, folks, after our break and a quick locale change so that we could keep our co-host on this podcast. We're ready to roll right into the Midwestern region. Jesse, we've got Michigan and the winner of UMBC and Howard, which I believe we both took UMBC. Who do you got in this one?
I'm taking Michigan in this one. Obviously, they just lost a Big Ten tournament, and as tempting as it is, the Retrievers are calling to me like the Green Goblin mask is, but I have to keep my wits about me. I'm taking the Wolverines.
Yeah, Yaxel Lendeborg is that guy. They the team that wears the blue and gold here, they're something else, man. They started the season with so many like explosive wins. It's not even fun. I mean, they were just beating the doors off of people, and obviously they did. They had lost. They did lose to Purdue in the Big Ten championship, and then they lost to Duke earlier in the season. Three losses on the year. It's hard for me to see another one coming here from the Retrievers.
Right. We got the 8 versus 9. We got Georgia and St. Louis. And if you've been following this podcast the last couple weeks, I was really high on the Billikens for a little bit. And as soon as that happened, they forgot how to play basketball, frankly.
Great.
Um, they got their doors absolutely blown off during the A10 tournament. really, really disappointing effort from them. And frankly, I cannot in good conscience pick them. Am I high on Georgia? No, I'm not. I'm very much not, but I'm taking the Bulldogs for this one.
Georgia does have the third highest scoring offense in Division One, and they're 10th in pace. They get a lot of scoring from their bench. However, St. Louis is also one of the best offenses in the country. They average only a point and a half less, and their defense is a lot more potent. I am going to go with the Billikens. I can't believe that we've flopped here, and you're now the
They're
St.
gonna go
Louis
on the
hater.
most legendary run that's ever been seen.
It's probably going to be about one game, but I do like the Billikens against Georgia.
Right, we got our next 5 versus 12. We got Texas Tech versus Akron. And for this one, I Akron's got a really good offense. I can't deny that. 50% from the field, 88.5 points per game. But JT Toppin, what else can we say about JT Toppin that hasn't really already been said? 22 points, 11 rebounds
Maybe
on the
that he
season.
tore his ACL in February.
Did he really?
Yeah,
Honestly,
he
who
hasn't
knew?
played since February. I'm
Bro, I am
sorry to
so behind on Texas
I
Tech.
know his stats are listed. And I agree with you, he is that guy, but he did tear his ACL in February.
Bro, I completely forgot about that.
They do have Christian Anderson, who's all
They do
conference
have
and
Christian
did get
Anderson.
hurt in the conference tournament, but they're expecting him to play in the big dance here.
Okay, so Christian Anderson, 19 points a game, 7.5 assists. So still solid production. I think that's enough to beat Akron. So that doesn't change my pick. It does change my overall feeling about them moving forward. So with that being said, I am taking Texas Tech.
I also am going to take the Red Raiders. Fun trivia, Akron is the shortest team in the field. Um,
Really?
yes, they do play at an extremely fast tempo and take a lot of threes, and they're pretty efficient. If they're going to pull off this upset, which I'm not predicting them to do, it can be done. They do have the recipe to do it. They just got to go white hot from deep. Could be done again, and especially Christian Anderson missed the conference tournament or got hurt in the conference tournament. They do expect him to play, but if he is not his best, I think that will again curtail their long-term outlook. But I think they'll have enough to get past the Zips.
Alrighty, so this next one, this is going to be a tough one because I'm
Boy, oh
actually
boy,
really going to defer to you a lot on this to determine how concerned I need to be.
very.
Alabama versus Hofstra, and Alabama's the 4 seed, Hofstra the 13th seed. If you haven't seen the news, Aiden Holloway is away from the team as of right now after a drug charge, and I know he is second leading scorer on the team. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah, and he's really good, and he's an experienced veteran player. I would recommend against having a pound of weed in your car the week of the NCAA tournament. Um,
Not ideal.
The most recent I've seen is Coach Nate Oates said that they're preparing to play without him this weekend. He is currently away from the school and the team. They're gonna let their kind of like internal investigation kind of play out. I could see maybe coming back the second week if they advance that far. I don't know. I would expect him not to play at all in the tournament, which sucks because this Alabama team definitely. I mean, you win two games and you're likely playing Michigan, who
Yeah.
is a better team than you. But I don't know. You could have gotten hot with, we keep saying good guards can make magic in March, and LeBaron Philon is one of the best guards in the country. Aiden Holloway is a really good guard. I think they're going to have enough against Hofstra, who is kind of a trendy upset pick. I mean, the most people are picking Alabama, but Hofstra does have really good guards, and they've got a good 7 footer with an elite name, Silas Sunday. Um,
That's a phenomenal name.
but I am going to go with Bama. Cruz Davis of Hofstra does average 20 points a game. It's something to keep an eye on. But yeah, I'm a lot less bullish on Alabama's chances long term as I was when I woke up this morning.
All right, so we're both taking Bama here. Next matchup, we got Tennessee taking on the winner of the SMU Miami of Ohio game. I think we both took Miami of Ohio, took the
We
Red
did.
Hawks there. And I'm assuming you're going to be in the same boat as me. Awesome story, really cool season, maybe a start to a building of a program for them. But I do not see them making it around Tennessee right now. Tennessee, rock solid team. Gillespie averaging 18 points a game. I'm taking the Volunteers.
Yeah, Tennessee does struggle. They shoot below 70% from the free throw line and they get into a lot of turnover and foul trouble. That being said, um, I think they're gonna. I mean, I think that I would. They would obliterate either SMU or Miami of Ohio. They do have a really strong offense. Gillespie's really good. Nate Ament is also a really strong player. So I think that I'm gonna roll with Tennessee in this one. Mostly because I don't really trust SMU or Miami of Ohio, but I'm rolling with the Volunteers as well.
Right. We got Wright State and Virginia, the 3 versus 14 for the Midwest region. And for this one, I'm not going to spend too much time on it. I'm taking the Cavaliers, Virginia.
Wow, no Raiders action at all.
No, I'm not feeling it. Not feeling
Yeah,
it.
it is interesting. They play at a very slow pace, but they score a lot of points. Wright State does. And Virginia is not the most trustworthy team in the nation, but I think that they're definitely going to have what it takes to beat the Wright State Raiders in this matchup, which would
Right.
set up for a really interesting Tennessee Virginia matchup.
That would be a very interesting one. And I think
Yeah,
we
well,
both
we
got
we
there.
just did just both
We
put
just
that,
did
so
that.
stay tuned for like 10 minutes.
So we got Kentucky taking on who's that? Santa
Santa
Clara
Clara,
University. And
the
for this
Broncos.
one, some of my notes that I had here, one, first and foremost, Kentucky can fall into a sinkhole for all I care. Two, with that being said, Santa Clara's got a guy on their team that is rock solid, Christian Hammond, sophomore guard. Stands at 6'4", but what I really like about his game, he shot over 40% from three this year. And that plays in March. So I'm going with the upset pick here. Mostly a hate watch for me on the Wildcats, but I'm taking
Fair.
Santa Clara.
You can take the boy out of Indiana, but you can't take the Indiana out of the boy. Um, Yeah, Kentucky has lost six of their last 10, mostly against tournament teams. They did beat Vanderbilt at the end of February, excuse me, almost at the end of April. Um, I am taking Santa Clara. I don't know.
Okay.
Kentucky just has all-time bad vibes for me right now. They just don't really do a lot of things well, and they're very streaky. That being said, they are streaky, so they could get hot and ride a wave, and the talent is there. But I'm gonna roll with Santa Clara in this one. Maybe Kentucky's a victim of I'm like, whoa, I'm picking a lot of chalk, but they don't have a guy to me that really stands out as um, that dude. Otega Owe is good. I don't know if he's elite in March.
We got Iowa State and Tennessee State rounding out the first round of matchups. We are finally almost done with the field of 64 here. And I'll be honest, Iowa State, one of the better defenses in the country. I think that will serve them well as they move forward in this tournament. They're 25-point favorites in this one. I'm taking the Cyclones.
Yeah, they're very deep and they're very veteran. Joshua Jefferson is a really strong point forward who can score, rebound, and create. I am stealing that from ESPN, but I have watched Iowa State play and he is very good. Taman Lindsay is a very good guard. And Milan Momcilovic leads the nation in three-point percentage and is tied for threes made. So if you're paying attention at home, those are three key parts to a team that could have really strong potential in March. And I think that's certainly going to be enough to get over the Tennessee State Tigers.
Right, let's get into round two. We have both of us taking Duke on this one and taking on the winner of the Ohio State TCU matchup. Frankly, I think this is going to be a double-digit line by the time it gets to round two. Obviously, the odds are not out yet because the matchup is not there, but I'm taking the Blue Devils moving on to the Sweet 16, I think, with pretty easy chances.
Yeah, I will say the matchup predictor has Duke as an 87% odd to win. So, TCU is good. Duke does have some injury concerns for sure. But I think that they're definitely enough. You know, their starting center should be playing Patrick Gongba and Caleb Foster broke his foot and will probably not play but Cameron Boozer is him. We didn't really talk about Duke in the first round, so
We didn't really need to.
we didn't really need to. I think they definitely it's a pretty favorable first weekend draw, obviously for them be playing the 16 and then I don't think TCU or Ohio State would give them any trouble.
I believe we both had Kansas and St. John's for this next matchup. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right, so that's the four versus the five. A lot of it just rides on for me is Darren Peterson, right? How serious is he going to take this, and how available is he going to be for this state of the tournament? I'm going to play under the assumption that he is going to play his standard amount, that 15 to 20 minutes. I'm taking Darren Peterson and the Kansas Jayhawks.
I'm taking St. John's. I can't trust Kansas enough. They're a very good team. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they're capable of playing really well, and we are tongue in cheek a little bit about Darren Peterson. He does average 20 points a game, but Zubi Ejiofor and Bryce Hopkins are tested veterans for St. John's, and I really think that they're underseeded as a five. Um, you've got the Big East Player of the Year and Bryce Hopkins, who's been there, done that. Um, the Big East champs being a six-loss Big East champs being the five seed is kind of crazy to me, and I think Kansas is going to fall victim to that.
Right. This next matchup, we had Southern Florida taking on Michigan State. And to me, this one comes down to who's holding the clipboard. And it's really hard for me to pick against Tom Izzo in this scenario. He has had his tournament losses, as any coach would, but I am going to take Sparty.
Wow, that's a very generous reading of South Florida's chances in this game. I think South Florida is good, don't get me wrong, but I think Michigan State is a real difference maker this year. Jeremy Fears I'm sorry, yeah, Jeremy Fears is really, really good. He leads the nation in assists, and he's got a lot of mouths to feed. I think they get fed against South Florida. I'm taking Sparty.
I'm going to be honest, part of me being nice to South Florida here is that I'm currently in South Florida and the
I
weather
do
just
love the University of South Florida. Go Bulls,
it
baby.
just the weather here in Southern Florida just tried to take me out, so I'm gonna.
Yeah, you got to go back to your Midwestern roots.
Yes, I got to make sure that we're all square. Next one, we got UCF. You had UCLA for this one,
Hmm.
taking on UConn. I am taking the Huskies. Again, I know both of us were saying earlier UConn, we're kind of wait and see on them, but I think they get through the second round pretty easily.
Yeah, I didn't really super love either UCLA or UCF, so I'm going with UConn. I think UConn has its warts, but I think that they should make it to the second weekend of the tournament.
All right, for this next one, we have Florida. We both picked Florida, and did we both pick Clemson on that one as well?
Mm-mm.
Oh, you took
I
Iowa.
took Iowa.
You took Iowa. All right, so the winner of the Clemson Iowa game taking on Florida. I am taking the defending champs once again.
This is this is my first inflection point.
Okay, okay.
I am really tempted to take Iowa, even though they're not playing very well. Florida just, I
You're feeling it. Okay,
don't trust Florida,
okay.
but they have played, I mean, they're a one seed. So I'm going to give them one more win at least here. And I'm going to take them against Iowa, mostly because I can't really get there with Iowa. But man, if Iowa beats Florida, I want to remember this moment as the moment that I almost had courage and didn't.
We got Vandy and Nebraska, the four versus five in this one. I am taking Vanderbilt. There's just something about it. I don't have a statistical reason. I just have a feeling in my body and my soul. I'm feeling Vandy right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Vanderbilt as well. It's just a really intriguing matchup of two teams that started just like smoking hot to start the year, kind of out of nowhere, and then faded a little bit down the stretch. Excuse me, Vanderbilt, did play for the SEC title, and I think their guard play will carry them a little bit further, but a really intriguing potential matchup here. I think it's pretty cool that these two teams, which Vanderbilt started 16-0 and Nebraska 20-0, and not really teams that have had a lot of dominant success ever in Nebraska's case, and certainly recently in Vanderbilt. Cool matchup. I'm going with the Commodores.
Right. And I believe we both had VCU and Illinois for this one.
We did.
All right. Give me VCU. Give me
Wow.
the 11 seed.
You
I
hate
told you.
Illinois.
It's not a hatred for them. I'm just not feeling it. There's something about this time of year that a lot of this comes down to how I'm feeling and how the teams are playing. And I know I am 100% taking your trademark on this one about taking a team that's hot going into a tournament. I know I'm taking it, and I am fine with it. I am taking Virginia Commonwealth on this one.
Yeah, I can't follow you there. I'm taking Illinois. I really like Illinois. I think that they have a lot of talented players, and I love VCU. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, I've been loyal to them for multiple weeks on this podcast, but I just don't see them pulling off two straight upset wins.
Right. This next matchup is Houston, and Houston is taking on the winner of St. Mary's and Texas
Yeah,
A&M.
you had
I went
A&M
with
and I
the
had St.
Aggies, you went
Mary's.
with St. Mary's, yeah. For this one, I think Houston's one of the best teams in the country, truly. I really do, and I don't see them running into too much trouble. Oh no, here comes the sigh.
So that's all true. Um, However, I am gonna also take Houston.
Okay.
I did think long and hard about taking St. Mary's.
He can still take St. Mary's if he has the courage to do the right thing.
I think that there has to be a letdown for one of these teams.
I agree. I agree. I
For
just
some
can't
reason,
pick which one.
philosophically, yeah, that's my problem is I can't choose who. We had an extremely chalky bracket last year, and I don't feel like the separation between the top teams this year is nearly as wide as it was last year. But I'm such a coward, and I can't pick the right team, so I'm not picking St. Mary's. I'm gonna stick with Houston.
Okay. Alrighty, we are moving back up to the West Regional for this next one. And we have Arizona taking on the winner of Villanova and Utah State. I took Utah State. I cannot remember for the life of me who you picked in that one.
I picked Villanova.
You picked Nova? Okay.
Yeah.
I am taking Arizona. I think they're one of the most complete teams in the country right now. I'm all in on the Wildcats here.
Yeah, in the well, I guess for you that's true. This is a wildcat on wildcat crime for me right here between Zona and Nova. I'm gonna take Arizona. You made a great point there. They're so good and they have so many talented players. They could have as I think I read somewhere that some people are saying they could have as many as 4 or 5 first round draft picks on this roster. Very,
I'd
very
believe that.
talented. Including Jaden Bradley, who should not have won the Big 12 Player of the Year, but the only thing that stands between Arizona and Destiny is themselves, basically, because they're really good at
Which
everything except for turning the ball over.
we have seen that happen with Arizona before. And again, I hate using the school does this, the school continues to do this,
Sometimes
especially
it matters, though.
it does. It does. Even through regime changes, there's something about having that on your back. And you talk about Nebraska never having a
Yeah,
tournament game.
statistically, you would think one team would break through. I mean, they're a power school that spends money in its athletic department, but that matters.
Here we are. All righty. We have I'm guessing you had Wisconsin here
I
versus
have
the
Wisconsin versus Arkansas, but you took High
uh
Point, didn't
I
you?
took High Point here, yes. I like Arkansas. I do. And I know I'm kind of going away from my upsets here, but I'm taking Arkansas for this one.
Yeah, one team has Darius Acuff and the other does not. I am going to take Arkansas. Wisconsin is good, and I think Wisconsin could win that game, but I'm riding with the stud freshman.
All righty. We got you had Texas here. I had BYU taking on Gonzaga for this one.
Yeah.
Did a little mini research here, looking at things in between after you made me doubt my BYU pick, and I'm walking with you. I am walking with you at this point. So I'm gonna go ahead and have them bounce out at this point, and I'm gonna take Zags.
I am taking Texas. This is, I promise it's not motivated by my wife, but I am. Texas is going to be my double digit seed to make the Sweet 16. Dalen Swain is good. He's a high volume, high efficiency guard. I Gonzaga's good, but like we pointed out, they've got some injury worries, and they just don't have like a star dog to me that stands out as somebody that can get them through. And I don't know, man. Maybe it's SEC bias, but I'm rolling with Texas.
All right. This next one. You took Missouri, I took Miami, taking on the Purdue Boilermakers here. And this is a tough one for me. I'm not one of those Indiana grads or Indiana fans that has a hatred for Purdue. I don't. I truly,
Oh
truly
my God,
don't.
you're picking against Purdue.
I am. And but this has nothing to do with me being an Indiana fan. And this has everything to do with I am going back to a point that you made earlier that Miami plays some tough ball on the interior. They rebound well. And Purdue has shown times in physical games that they kind of back down from that challenge. So I think we do get an upset here. The 7 over the 2 seed, I'm taking the Hurricanes.
Yeah, I do think that the 7 seed is one of the four seeds that Purdue has not lost to under Matt Painter. So you would
Give
be
it time.
you would be achieving that for Purdue. Yeah, I had Mizzou and Purdue. I'm going with Purdue. I think that they're playing like the team that they were supposed to be when the season started right now, and I don't think Missouri's getting in that way. But you're a wild one for that. I can't say that I completely blame you, given that they've lost to everybody under the sun as a, a higher seed. But I'm gonna roll with the Boilers.
All right. Next one, we got Michigan taking on. I had Georgia. You had St. Louis on this one. And I'm taking the Wolverines. They've been a strong team all year. And I don't think that stops for either one of these teams, regardless of who wins. And
Yeah.
I'm taking Michigan.
Yeah, we can keep this short. I said the same thing. St. Louis, you flew too close to the sun and got smacked into oblivion by Yaxel Lindebord. So sorry.
Right. This one, we got Texas Tech and Alabama here. And both teams going to be shorthanded
Good
for
old
this one.
fashioned mid off.
Yep, good old fashioned mid off here, and it's sad because the 4-5 seeds are normally really intriguing if we can get to this. That being said, with the revelation that JT Toppin has been hurt for a month and a half, and I completely missed that.
It's a
Uh,
month. I wouldn't say a month and a half.
okay,
Month
I
and a half.
appreciate it. That gives me a couple extra weeks of flex. It's
Yeah.
been busy, man. I'm tired.
Dude, I
We
do
work
not blame you
full-time
one bit.
jobs.
Yeah, I don't blame you one bit. As somebody who couldn't have looked at this bracket if he wanted to before we recorded, I don't blame you.
I'm taking the Crimson Tide for this one. I think the rest of the team, regardless of who's missing, I think is better overall than what's left of Texas Tech. I'm not thrilled about the pick, but I'm taking a Crimson Tide.
Yeah, this is unfortunate because these two teams at full strength would have really been dangerous and had a chance to run through the bracket. I'm going to take my boys, Alabama. I do think that they have enough. And even without Holloway, maybe it's the homer in me, but I think there's an outside shot that they could contend against Michigan if they get hot. At least in the purposes of this round of 32 game, I am going to take them over the Red Raiders. Sweet 16 for Bama.
All right.
Basketball.
Next one. I believe we both had. I had Tennessee and Virginia. Do you have the
Yeah, we
same?
have Tennessee and Virginia.
Okay. I really like Nate Ament for Tennessee.
Yeah.
I think he's a
Good player.
really solid player. I think he could be a really solid role player moving forward and even uh, crack a starting lineup here in the next few years if he decides to go one and done. This was a tough one. This is a tough one. Virginia's always really well coached. I know they've had some coaching regime changes over time. This was a really, really tough matchup, and I am going to go ahead and take Virginia on this one, but I think this is going to be a close game.
Yeah, I took Tennessee. I really like their top two players. You know, you talk about Nate Ament, Jacoby Gillespie is tested as well. Um, I don't love Virginia. They're not bad for sure, and I actually think they're a better team than they have always been known. I think people still think about Virginia as in the Tony Bennett Virginia, but they've
Right.
actually scored 20 points or 80 plus 20 times this year, which is the most since 2001.
It's crazy.
Virginia, this is not your father's Virginia, but I do like Tennessee in this matchup. A little 6 over 3 upset.
Right. And then our last one, bottom of the bracket, you had Kentucky. I did not
No,
just.
I have Santa Clara.
Oh, you picked Santa Clara too?
I
I was
did,
so
yes.
blinded by my hateful rage that I completely forgot that.
Receiving still.
Uh, Santa Clara and Iowa State, I'm taking the Cyclones. I don't think this one's going to be close.
Yeah, Iowa State is a really strong team, and I like their chances about just about anybody, whether it's Kentucky. who it will more likely be, or Santa Clara Cyclones by a lot for
All
me.
right. We are in the Sweet 16. I think we've done a lot of analysis at this point. I don't think we need to probably
Yeah,
dive too deep. We can start kind of just flying through some picks here. I think everyone knows how we feel about each of these teams.
yeah,
So, my first Sweet 16 matchup here is Duke and Kansas. I believe you had St. John's.
yeah. Duke and St. John's.
I'm taking Duke. I think Cam Boozer is that dude. And I really don't see a lot of resistance up to this point.
I'm taking St. John's.
Good for
I
you.
I don't know.
I'm proud of you for that
They're a
pick,
team that
actually.
has something to prove, and I like Cam Boozer a lot, but Duke has got a few injury question marks for me, and I don't know. I said somebody has to be the one to fall short, and for me it's Duke.
Right. I believe we both had MSU and UConn for this matchup.
Yes.
I'm taking Sparty. I'm taking Michigan State here. I think this is where UConn kind of buckles underneath some pressure.
Yeah, I've highlighted that I'm a believer in Michigan State, so I don't need to belabor the point. I'm taking them over the Huskies as well.
Okay.
Should be a if we get this game, should be one of the best games of the tournament.
I agree. We have Florida and Vandy. Is that your pick,
Yep.
your matchup here? I'm taking Vanderbilt.
I'm
I'm
also
taking Vandy.
taking Vanderbilt.
I love it.
I don't know. Florida is really good, but they run through the post and guards win in March. That's not like a universal like that. That's not the only
No,
thing that
but
happens,
it's
but
especially in this modern age of basketball, guards definitely are a much more important part
it,
of.
it's going to be hard to beat Florida again after they just did it, but why not?
Yeah,
Why
why
not the
not?
doors?
All right. You had Illinois at this point.
Illinois and Houston.
All right, I had VCU in Houston. All right, I need you to walk with me.
Because you're taking Houston. Don't even try to sell me on this.
I had to. Houston. Really not much else that we can say about Houston at this point. Top five defense, excellent offense, top 15 offense as well to go with it. I'm taking Houston.
I'm taking Illinois. I
Woo!
I really like Illinois. I think they've got a solid crop of veterans. They're
Okay.
really good. They're an efficient offense. Houston is really good too. This again could be a really an instant classic type game, but I'm going with the online eye.
Okay. All right. Back over to the West region. I had Arizona and Arkansas. Is
Yep.
that what you had?
I have Arizona and Arkansas.
Alrighty. I'm taking Arkansas. I
Wow.
have
He said
very
he's
I have very little reason to believe it, and this is gonna blow up in my face
hashtag
spectacularly.
DAJ.
But DAJ is HIM, and I am 100% behind him right now, and I think his draft stock is going to explode after this tournament.
I hear you. I am not going with you. I think Arizona is top to bottom the deepest team of all healthy players, the deepest team in this tournament. I'm going with Arizona, but I could totally see the Arkansas train continuing to roll. I would I hate it because for Calipari to continually just we can't keep letting him do this, but um, he is doing it right now.
He can't keep getting away with it. All right. I had Gonzaga. You had Texas, I believe, on
Yes.
this one. Texas is a Sweet
This
16,
is the
11
first
seed.
Sweet 16 game that we have entirely differently.
Yes,
You
because I had
have
Miami here. So you had Texas, Purdue.
I have Texas Purdue, you have Gonzaga Miami.
All right. I am taking Gonzaga for this one. I think a little bit of a upset hangover is here for Miami. I think they end up shooting 20% from three for the game.
It's oddly
And
specific prediction for this pick you were gonna fly through. You can't help yourself.
I can't. It's a disease. I am taking Gonzaga.
I'm gonna go with Purdue. Texas's Cinderella run ends here. Purdue is just too good. Braden Smith is just too good. I've got Purdue beating Texas. Sorry, honey.
Right. We got Michigan and Bama for this one. I think this is where the shorthandedness for Alabama runs out. If they were full strength, I would take Alabama. I truly would. Time will tell, but I'm taking Michigan.
Yeah, I think I would take Alabama if I knew for certain that Aiden Holloway was going to be playing a fuck you revenge game. Um, which no athlete performs better than the one that's got a self-inflicted problem and comes back. Just like Rishi Rice when all the Chiefs were wearing the free four. or free Rasheed Rice, and it's like you guys know what he did, right? Like,
It was his fault. He
it was
made the
his fault.
decision.
He was not a victim here. Um, in fact, he famously left the victim behind. But all that said, I have to roll with Michigan, unfortunately.
Right. So you had Tennessee here. I had Virginia taking on Iowa State. I am really high on the Cyclones. I'm taking Iowa State.
I also am taking the Cyclones
Right.
over Tennessee.
Right. We are in the Elite Eight. You have St. John's
I do have
here
St. John's, St.
against
John's, and
Sparty.
Michigan State.
Right. I got Duke, Michigan State. I am rolling with the number one overall seed. I'm taking Duke.
I'm taking Michigan State. Um, St. John's had a great run, but I like what Tom Izzo is doing a little bit. It's been a while since we've had a classic Izzo here, and I think we've got one brewing.
Right. Correct me if I'm wrong. We both have Vandy and Houston for this one, right?
No, I have Vanderbilt in Illinois.
You had Illinois. That was correct. Brother D Brown ain't walking through that door, but I respect how we got here. I'm taking Houston, and I've talked a lot about them the last several rounds. Houston to the Final Four.
D. Brown may not be walking through that door, but Keaton Wagler, David Mirkovich, and Andrei Stojakovic are. I'm taking the Illini all the way to the Final Four.
Okay, okay. We got Arkansas and Gonzaga for me. Yours is Arizona, Purdue.
Arizona, Purdue, yeah.
Man, we went way off on that one. I'm taking Arkansas to the Final Four.
All right. I can totally see it happening. It would be great for the ESPNs and content creators of the world. I'm going with Arizona. It hurts to pick against Purdue, especially when I think they're playing their best ball this season. But man, Arizona is so good. I've got
Right.
the Wildcats.
Do we both have Michigan, Iowa State here?
We do.
All right, I'm taking the Cyclones here. I think this will be a really good game, probably one of the best games of the tournament, but I'm taking Iowa State.
I'm also taking the Cyclones. So that, Jesse, gives me Michigan State, Illinois, Arizona, and Iowa State as my final four. What do you got?
It gives me Duke, Houston, Arkansas, and Iowa State.
All right. So your first semifinal is Duke and Houston.
Yes. This is a tough one. This is a really tough one. I think this is where defense starts to come into play more, and both of these teams are elite defensively. And when it comes down to it, I want to lean on star power. I really want to lean on star power, and that needle is heavy towards Duke. But there's something pulling me back to Houston. They made it to the championship game last year, and there's something beyond reason that is pulling me to take Houston to go to the championship game.
All right, I respect that. I've got Michigan State and Illinois. I've been talking up both these teams. I think they're both very, very good. The winner of the last matchup between the two was Michigan State 85-82. I think I'm going to run with the same result. They're not the hottest shooting team, but they are very good at rebounding the ball. And they're plucky, and this is probably why they're not actually going to make it this far. But because anytime Michigan State has expectations, they falter. But I'm going with the Spartans to make it to the final game in Indy. Final four in Indy, by the way. We haven't addressed that yet.
Hey, my second semifinal matchup is Arkansas and Iowa State. I've been talking about how high I am on Iowa State this entire time. I'm taking Iowa State to the championship game.
Wow, my sister-in-law Michaela is going to be jumping over her jeans in this podcast. Um, Unfortunately, I cannot continue that euphoria for her. I am taking Arizona. I just think they're the best team in the country.
All right,
Spoilers, I guess.
to reset, I have Houston and Iowa State, a couple two seeds playing for the national championship, and yours is once again.
I have 3 seed Michigan State playing 1 seed Arizona.
Okay. Championship. Michaela, you're going dancing. Iowa State is taking this one
Wow.
all the way. The Cyclones will be national champions.
And for my 2 cents, the West will rise again as Arizona takes their first title since I think 2001. It's been at least 20 years, but I've got Arizona over Michigan State in the championship.
Alrighty.
I don't love it. I would prefer a different outcome, but
I think we all would, but
give me
neither
Purdue.
here nor
Yeah,
there.
you're right. The people need Purdue to win basketball.
The people need
Can you
Purdue.
imagine a year where Indiana wins football and then Purdue wins basketball.
That'd be incredible. I'm not even
It'd be
gonna
pretty
lie.
funny because they're the two sports. The other school is, I mean, at this point, Purdue's probably known more for basketball because their football
Yeah.
has been a dark abyss. But for a while, they at least produced a great quarterback, and they still produce edge rushers that then transfer and play for other schools. But safeties.
Alrighty. We're gonna take a quick break here and come back with the women's tournaments. We'll try to do that one a little quicker so we can get through this show.
Yeah,
We got a
last
couple,
episode was a record length, and we don't want to just continue to top
and
that.
frankly, that was completely by accident, but
We
uh
both thought it was going to be fast.
we really did, and here we are. That's just what we do. Alrighty, we're gonna take a quick break, and I'm going to refill on my little drink here, and we are going to talk some women's hoops.
Let's do it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We have just capped off our men's bracket reveals. Jesse took Iowa State, and I took Arizona to go all the way. Now we have flipped over Jesse's wonderful printing to the other side, which is the women's side of the bracket. Jesse and I both women's basketball supporters, so we know a little bit more. I will not sit here and say that we are experts. Please find actual experts for analysis. But if you want some good, a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of vibes, what you're about to hear in the next 40 minutes plus, gonna be good.
All right, let's start off with our first four. Regional number two is going to be Nebraska versus the Richmond Spiders. And for this one, I got to go with another classic mascot here. I love the logo for the Richmond Spiders. I'm taking Richmond.
Yes, I'm with you 100%. I don't really know a whole lot about these two teams this year. Nebraska has had some good teams in recent years. Um, without knowing a lot about what happened to them this year, I was curious to see them as one of the first four teams, but I am going with the Spiders.
Right. Next first four is Stephen F. Austin versus Missouri State. This is a battle for a 16 seed. ESPN has Missouri State as a 62% chance of winning this one. They are also the line favorite by 3 points. That being said, I'm feeling Stephen F. Austin for this one.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Missouri State. In this matchup where I truly don't know a lot about either team, I'll take that favorite.
Right, another 16 first four matchup. We got Southern and Samford going here. Samford under 500, but conference champs, so they are able to make it into this point of the tournament. I am taking Samford on this one.
Yeah, I have the most like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon tied to Samford, and I also just love a plucky underdog. Like literally nobody thinks that they believes in them. They're an under 500 team. They got at least one more in them. I gotta think.
I got one more in me. All right, and then we got a plan for a 10 seed Virginia versus Arizona State. Another 3 point favorite here for Virginia. A lot of these first four games we're noticing are kind of coin flips when it comes to the odds. The odds
Mhm.
makers are really kind of saying anything goes. Give me the Cavaliers. I want double Cavaliers in the tournament.
I'm going with Arizona State. I forget the name of their coach, but she's kind of a fast riser in the women's basketball sphere. And Molly Miller, that's her name. She it's her first year. She previously coached at Grand Canyon and really kind of built that program into a pretty strong you know, program. They were 32-3 last year and made the NCAA tournament for the first time. Well, I don't know that it's the first time, but it's got to be close because Grand Canyon hasn't existed for that long. Um, I'm going to go with Arizona State.
All right. Let's get into the first round. Top left of the bracket. This is going to be Fort Worth, region number one. And we got UConn versus UTSA. This is UConn's world. We are all just living in it right now. Sarah Strong is an absolute menace to society. Listen to this one, folks. A 55-point favorite for this first round game. This is borderline unsafe to be played at this point. I am taking the Huskies.
Yeah, Aussie Fudd is also a monster. Sarah Strong, of course, great. Texas San Antonio. Um, they were the sixth seed in the American Conference, and they shocked number one seed Rice in the final. They're 18 and 15, and what a great season. Um, Probably not pulling off the upset against UConn.
We got the 8-9 matchup, Iowa State versus Syracuse, and this is a matchup where we get to see Audie Crooks in the tournament. If you're unfamiliar with her game, what are you doing? Please go
Audie
watch some Iowa
Crooks.
State. Audie Crooks is her 25 and a half points a game, almost 8 rebounds. It is a shame that she has to be in the same region as UConn because I really wanted to watch her more in this tournament. But I think they beat up Syracuse pretty well here. I'm taking the Cyclones.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll with again, I've said before when it's two teams that I think are pretty close. Iowa State unfortunately has kind of faltered. They've lost three of their last four, but Audie Crooks is her, so I'm going with Iowa State.
We got Maryland and Murray State, the 5 versus 12 for this region. Murray State as a 12 seed, 31 and 3. Pretty good season for them, but the line usually doesn't lie when it comes to this. That Maryland 27-point favorites for this game. They got a 94% chance to win according to ESPN analytics. Absolutely nothing against Murray State's pretty incredible season, but for this one, I got to go with the experts and I'm taking Maryland.
It's interesting. I'm seeing 30.5 point favorites for Maryland. So my end is even, I guess it kind of depends on the book. Hallie Pook, I'm sure I'm butchering that last name, but 22 points per game for Murray State. And then Charnice Curry Jelks, 18 points, 11.7 rebounds. They rebound well, they protect the ball, and they've had a great season, obviously 31 and 3. But Maryland has four girls that average at least 9.8 points per game, um, including junior star Oluchi Okinawa or Okananwa, excuse me. She's at 18 points per game. Probably going to be enough for the Terrapins.
Right. This one, we got the 4 versus 13, UNC versus Western Illinois. Before I get into the odds of this one, because I feel like it just kind of not intentionally disrespectful to some of these smaller teams, and the parity in women's basketball is different. It's different at this point based off of where a lot of the funding goes for these teams. I want to give a shout out to Mia Nicastro for Western Illinois on her senior season. Shot over 50% from the field, 24.2 points and 10 rebounds. Absolute monster
Hmm.
over there. Incredible senior season for her, where she led her team 26 and 5 and led her team to the tournament. That's nothing to be ashamed of. That being said, I am going to take North Carolina. The program is just strong, and they currently have a 98% chance of winning, according to ESPN.
Yeah, I love their mascot, the Leathernecks, and for that alone, I'm tempted. But UNC is a pretty strong team, and they're 13 winners of 13 of their last 15. They don't have a really strong scorer. Nyla Harris is their leading scorer at 11.3 and one of four to average double digits. So you can do the math there on how far apart they are. But they are a great shooting team. They're 15th in the country in three-point percentage, and at least seven Tar Heels have shot at least 60 threes. So that's a good recipe for success, and I think they'll get past the Leathernecks.
Right. We got Notre Dame and Fairfield, 6 versus 11 on this one. Notre Dame historically has had a very good women's program. I think they're kind of in a little dip right now, given how they have been in previous seasons. But again, 6 seed, nothing to sneeze at. You're still a top 25 team in the country. I do think they win this one, but they only have them as 8-point favorites. This could be one that we see in upsets. Katie Leigh-Amaro is averaging 17 and a half for Fairfield and having a really, really nice season for them. That being said, I'm going with the program favorites and taking the Fighting Irish.
Yeah, Fairfield analytically profiles really well. They were fourth nationally in effective field goal percentage, and they also held their opponents to the 23rd best mark on points per play. Hannah Hidalgo, I think, is going to be enough to stir the drink here for the Irish. They are not their usual, program this season. But they have won seven of their last eight. I do want to point out Hannah leads the country. She's one of the leading scorers, 25 points per game. She also averages 5.5 steals per game, which is
Whew.
1.1 more than anybody else. And Notre Dame, if they're going to to advance. They have a superstar, and then they also have five players besides her that average at least 1.2 steals per game. So a very, very pesky defense, I think, will be enough to take care of what is a feisty Fairfield squad.
Right, we have our 314 is Ohio State versus Howard for this one. And the line is pretty egregious in favor of Ohio State. But I just want to shout out Jelani Cambridge for the Buckeyes, sophomore guard, averaging 23, 5.5, and 4.5 this season. And really, if you look at her stats from previous years, going from 15 points a game to 23 this year, but additionally, not only is the volume going up with more playing time, her efficiency went up as well. She increased her field goal percentage, her 3-point percentage, and her free throw percentage across the board. We're not just seeing this as a, oh, you got more minutes, you're getting more touches kind of situation. She's legitimately playing better ball all the way around.
Yeah, shout out to Howard winning the MEAC for the first time since 2001, or the dancing for the first time since 2001 after winning the MEAC conference tournament. Ohio State's really good. Jelani Cambridge is, you just pointed out, a stud. And they have a 6'6" sophomore, Elsa Lamilla, that helps patrol the paint for them. I think it's going to be enough to take care of I think they're the Bison, the Howard.
I think
Yeah, the
so, yeah.
Bison. Yeah.
Right. Next one, we have the 7 versus 10, Illinois versus Colorado. This is where I'm going to take my first upset. Statistically, I'm not really seeing a lot that tells me Colorado over Illinois, but this just feels like one of those games that you just need kind of a bulldog to come in and win. I think Colorado has a couple of them on their roster. I'm going to go ahead and go with the Buffaloes.
Yeah, Colorado struggles from deep, but they do rebound very well. Um, they definitely could pull this off. I'm gonna go with Illinois. I really like Barry Wallace. She averages 18.4 points per game and 6 rebounds per game. What I like it the most about her is she shoots 87% from the free throw line, which Illinois shoots second is the second best free throw shooting team in the country. So I think Colorado definitely could do it. Illinois is only a 3.5 point favorite, so clearly the markets think that the possibility is there. But if push comes to shove and it comes down to the stripe, I just like Illinois a little bit better from there. So I'm taking the line. I
Last one for regional number one, we have Vanderbilt and High Point. High Point, congrats on making the tournament.
Yeah,
Happy you're
shout out.
dancing. Enjoy your cup of coffee. You're going to be catching the next flight the day after. Vanderbilt by a million.
High Point is pretty good. And what a great year for High Point basketball that you're making the
Absolutely.
conference tournament in both
Absolutely.
sides. Vanderbilt does feature Michaela Blake, so you will be catching a flight. She leads the nation with 27 points per game, and Vanderbilt has plenty of other talent as well. They beat Texas, who won the SEC by 16 points about a month ago. They have a lot of really nice wins. They also did get the breaks beaten off them by South Carolina all the way back in January. But Vanderbilt is a 2 seed for a reason, and they're going to prove it against High Point.
Right. Move down to regional number four. Yes, I did go from one to four. I'm just going
Yeah,
down the left
it's
side,
just how
down
it
the
is.
right side.
Sacramento 4, baby.
Yep, Sacramento 4. We got South Carolina taking on the winner of the Samford Southern playing game. Again, this is not one that I think needs a lot of introduction. South Carolina, 31 and 3 on the season, typically one of the best teams in the country. They are battle tested. I'm taking the Gamecocks.
Yeah, Joyce Edwards is really good. They don't necessarily have like the Asia Wilson type player on their team, but they have a lot of really good ball players, and I think that that's definitely going to be enough. Again, they're not going to face that 1 versus 16 loss. I've got the Gamecocks.
Right, we got the 8-9 matchup with Southern California taking on Clemson. And I got two words for you on this one. Jazzy Davidson, averaging 17 and a half points, almost 6 rebounds. And they are actually pretty heavily favored according to the matchup predictor. 76% chance of winning and an 8-point favorite for being the seeded underdog, technically, in this one. I am taking USC.
Yeah, Clemson is a good team. Mia Moore is good, but USC has overcome the loss of Juju Watkins, who even a lot of casual fans
Oh,
know.
yeah.
And being able to make the tournament despite losing, your offensive centerpiece. Jazzy Davidson's a freshman. She's really good, as you mentioned. Senior Kara Dunn is also pretty good. She's also adding 15 points and 5 boards a game. They just aren't the best shooting or rebounding team, but they don't turn the ball over very often, and they create opportunities for others. And then their defense is pretty solid, so I think that's probably enough to give them the edge against Clemson.
Right. We got Michigan State versus Colorado State on this one. And Grace Van Sluten, solid player for them. But I'm looking at their tournament performances as a team here. And when they've been playing high quality teams, Michigan State's been struggling lately. I have them on upset watch, and I'm actually going to take Colorado State's for a 12 over 5 upset here.
Colorado State is a very good shooting team from the free throw line, and they don't turn the ball over very well or very often. I like their profile. I am going to roll with Van Sluten at Kennedy Blair and co. Um, if you can slow down those two players, that definitely gives you an edge against Michigan State. They don't really necessarily have a third player that's stepped up a ton. But I'm going to stick with the Spartans. I like
Right.
Colorado State. I like their chances, but I'm gonna go with Sparty.
We got a 4 versus 13 here, Oklahoma versus Idaho. And I know I absolutely disrespected the state of Idaho during the men's tournament. I'm about to do it again. Thank you for your potatoes, but it is going to be a one and done for y'all here. Aaliyah Chavez has been absolutely dominant, especially as of late. Last 5 games, she scored 20, 17, 18, 16, and 21 against some really good competition in the SEC tournament and beyond. I am taking the Sooners.
I'm actually going with a big upset here. I'm taking the Idaho Vandals, or are they the Lady
Okay,
Vandals? I don't
okay.
know. They're the Vandals. I don't know. They've won 29 games. This is not a team that got hot in their conference tournament. Um, they have 4 players that average in double figures. They're a good rebounding team. Opponents only shoot 36% from the floor against them. Um, Oklahoma is one of the better 2-point shooting teams from the field in the field, but they are not a great deep shooting team. Their defense is good, but I don't know, man. I look at that and I'm like, 2-point shots can dry up if you can't shoot consistently from deep. Idaho may have a shot, and that's enough for me to pick what is probably not a very trendy upset, based on the 34.5 point line. But I don't know, man. You got to pick a couple dart throws, and
Yeah, sometimes you got to just let
who
things
better to lose in
fly,
the first round than Oklahoma?
right? Next one, we have Washington taking on South Dakota State, a 6 versus 11. This is going to be one of my dart throws, but I think it's a controlled dart throw. South Dakota State 27 and 6 on the year. Really, really good season for them. And overall, I like their profile and how they match up against Washington in this one. And here's what's interesting. Brooklyn Myers, senior for this team, is leading the team in both points and rebounds. That's pretty standard, but the 2.7 assist is what concerns me about the Jackrabbits long term. I think they have a pretty hot game. I think Brooklyn Myers, a senior, comes out and plays really hard in this tournament, but I don't see them moving too far forward, but enough to make some noise in this first round at least.
See, I am taking the Jackrabbits. And here's why. Brooklyn Meyer, as you mentioned, she's a dominant post player. Washington has struggled a little bit with their interior defense.
Hmm.
They have a good perimeter defense and they rebound the ball well. But they also struggle from the free throw line. And if you've got a player like Brooklyn Meyer, who, if she can get hot, the Jackrabbits are also a very efficient shooting team. They don't create a lot of turnovers, but if you make a lot of your shots, then I think that gives you enough of a shot. They've played some tougher competition this year. They haven't really won. They got blown out by Duke and North Carolina, but they fought competitively against Texas in December. And I don't know. I picked a couple dart throws, and this was another one. So 2 of them just happened to be back to back.
Right. We have UC San Diego taking on TCU, a 3 versus 14 game here. And for TCU, I'm taking them for the win here. They're heavily favored. I really like the game of Olivia Miles. I know she's the leading scorer, but she has a really nice rounded game. As a guard, is averaging almost 7 rebounds a game and 6.5 assists. Is kind of getting her hands in anywhere she can. I am going to go ahead and take the Horned Frogs.
Yeah, Notre Dame legend Olivia Miles, by the way. What if she was still on the roster? Yeah, I'm taking TCU. I think Olivia Miles is one of the best players in the tournament. Shout out to the San Diego UC San Diego Tritons. Great season. Erin Condren, is kind of a sneaky good player. She averages 16, 8.5, and 1.3 blocks per game. But there's nothing that stands out as exemplary from the Tritons, and so I'm going to lean with the team that has more talent.
Right. This next one, Georgia is taking on the winner of a playing game. That was the Virginia Arizona State game. I took Virginia in that one, I believe. Did you take Arizona State?
I did take Arizona State.
Okay. For this one, I'm taking the Bulldogs, and Danny Carnegie is been really playing lights out for them. Huge jump in production, and that comes with the territory getting more playing time this year. But jump from about 13 points a game to over 18, and increasing her efficiency. She was 38% from the field last year, 43% this year. Really, really solid jump and solid season from her. I like the Bulldogs in this one.
Yeah, I took UGA as well. I liked Arizona State in the play-in game, but I don't know if I like them to make a long run, and I think Georgia's got enough talent to hold that off.
Right. We got Iowa and FDU. FDU solid season, 30-4, but heavy underdogs against a really solid Iowa squad and coming in as the 2 seed. Good season for Iowa basketball. And honestly, from the points per game and rebounds from Ava Hayden, I think Iowa is taking this one pretty easily.
Yeah, Iowa did in fact lose by 51 to UCLA in the Big Ten title game, which I think is going to color a lot of people's opinions of them. But they were a very, very good ball club all season long. They have, they did falter against some of the top teams. They were not competitive in two games against UCLA. They also got smoked by UConn in December. But I think that outside of a couple teams, they're one of the strongest, most well-rounded teams. They have a really good post play. I think that's going to definitely be enough against Farley Dickinson, who's never
All right.
won any March games of note anyway
Right.
across men's.
Regional two. Regional two, we're up in the top right now. We got UCLA versus CA Baptist. Before we get into the massacre that's about to
California
happen here,
Baptist is in here too. My
California
God.
Baptist. Yeah. How about
Shout
that?
out to the
Both
Lancers.
tournaments. Shout out to the programs over there. That means something, right? That absolutely means something. UCLA, one of the best teams in the country, 52-point favorites according to DraftKings Sportsbook here. We are taking, I'm guessing I'm going to speak for you here. We're taking the Bruins.
Yeah, Lauren Betts and Kiki Rice are two really, really good players. I can't say that I know a lot about California Baptist. They do have Felipa Barros, who averages a double-double and then adds 5 assists per game, which is a pretty good season. But I think that I'm gonna have to go with the team that just won the Big Ten championship by 51 points.
Ready. We got Oklahoma State and Princeton. I'm taking Princeton on this one. They had a really solid season, 26-3. Madison St. Rose had a good season leading them in scoring. And, honestly, I'm looking at a lot of their stuff here, and there's really nothing statistically. This is a dart throw for me. I'm taking Princeton.
They're a good shooting team, and they force turnovers. And the Cowgirls of Oklahoma State have a balanced attack, but they don't really defend the ball very well. Um, and in a close matchup like this, I'm gonna roll with Princeton. I like their 26-3. They had a really good season. I'm willing to ride a lot on a little bit of Ivy League magic for that one.
Right. 5 versus 12, we got Ole Miss versus Gonzaga. I was really high on Gonzaga for the men's tournament. I'm not feeling it as much for this one. They do have a really solid forward, freshman Lauren Whitaker. Solid post game from her. With this one, I'm going veteran leadership from Ole Miss, and they are the favorites.
I'm gonna pull the trigger. I was thinking about it. I am gonna pull the trigger on Gonzaga. It would be a bit of an upset. Ole Miss is good. Cody McMahon is averages almost 20, basically 20 points per game. But I really like Lauren Whitaker as a freshman, and Gonzaga's 18-4 in their last 22, which is, you know,
Pretty
I,
good.
I do like riding the hot hand. That's kind of a deep pull, but they do turn the ball over well, or a lot. But they are the second most accurate team from 3-point range, and if you can get hot there, then I think that gives you a chance to pull off the upset.
Okay. 4 versus 13, Minnesota and Green Bay. I am a believer in the Big Ten, especially for women's basketball. I am taking Minnesota.
I would love to tell you that I want to pick the Green Bay Phoenix because I do, but Minnesota is a pretty well-rounded team. They've won 10 of their last 12. They got five girls that are in double digits. They don't foul a lot and they rebound well. And then you look at Green Bay, they take care of the ball, but you give up a ton of threes. Um, and I don't love that profile. Even if you don't think Minnesota is the sharpest shooting team, um, I just have trouble picking a team that gives up a ton of threes. So I'm gonna go
Right.
with Minnesota.
This next one we have Baylor taking on the winner of the Richmond, Nebraska play-in game, and I took Richmond for this one. I am taking Richmond in an upset of Baylor, which would be a pretty big one as far as names
It
go.
sure would.
But I'm thinking, I don't know. I'm feeling it. I'm not really liking what I'm seeing from Baylor statistically. I'm taking Richmond on the hot hand.
I like Talia Scott. She averages 20 points a game for Baylor. Kind of a star in the making, I think. And their second leading scorer is Dariana Littlepage Buggs, who, despite having or in addition to having a great name, averages 10 and 10. Um, Baylor has a really strong interior defense. They are not hot, which kind of bucks the convention that I usually follow, but I like them over Richmond, at least in this one.
Right, next one we got Duke versus Charleston, 3 versus 14. I'm taking Duke, and they do have the star power at the top with Fournier, but I really like the fact that they have 4 players averaging double figures. And that matters this time of year. And we saw it during the ACC tournament. Fournier struggled in the championship game, only scored 7 points, but she was able to get picked up in a W. And I think having multiple people that can show up and put the ball at the bottom of the net matters this time of year.
While I do love the narrative of the twins, Taryn and Taylor Barbo, or Barbet. I haven't caught a lot of College of Charleston broadcasts, so I'm not sure if it's Bardo or Bardet. I love the twin sisters. But Duke at one point won 21 of 23 games.
Yeah.
Actually, no, they have won 21 of 23 games, and at one point they had won 17 straight. I think the pedigree there is just going to be a little bit too much for the College of Charleston.
Right. So this next one, we got Villanova and Texas Tech. And this one's kind of a toss-up when it comes to the odds makers here. But I don't know. I'm kind of going back and forth. Villanova got destroyed by UConn in their last matchup by almost 40 points, but I mean, who's not getting destroyed by UConn at this point? And with that being said, I am going to have Texas Tech eke out a win here, but I do believe it'll be close.
We have an interesting matchup here where Villanova is one of the worst teams at drawing fouls, and Texas Tech is one of the worst teams at committing fouls. So it's the stoppable force versus the movable object. Um, in this game, I'm going to default to who I think is the best player, and that's Villanova's Jasmine Basco. So I'm going to take Villanova, but it's truly, I don't know if you already said the line, but Texas Tech is a 1.5 point favorite on
Yeah,
my end. I'm getting the
same as
DraftKings
mine.
odds from ESPN. So,
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
um, a coin flip game, I'm going to go with Jasmine Basco and Villanova. But I'm interested to, I kind of want to tune into this one, make sure I keep an eye on when that is, the 20th. What is the 20th? Friday at 7:30. I'm intrigued. I like seeing when two teams are both bad at something. Like if one team gives up a ton of threes, but the other team like is horrible at shooting threes. I love seeing which one breaks first.
Right. Bottom of this region here, we got LSU and Jacksonville, 2 and 15. LSU is probably going to win this one pretty easily, but I want to give a shout out to Priscilla Williams, senior for the Jacksonville Dolphins. Excellent team name, by the way. Priscilla leads her team in all 3 major categories: points, rebounds, and assists, capping off a really awesome career over there. Shout out to her, but we're going with the Tigers.
I hate seeing Kim Mulkey succeed, but she's probably going to do it here. Yeah, shout out to Jacksonville. Second time that they've danced in school history, first time since 2016. They have won 13 of their last 14, but they have not played LSU caliber teams, obviously. And also, University of Jacksonville once denied me for a job, or denied me for
Oh,
a job after I interviewed. So it's personal.
okay. That is definitely personal. Texas versus the playing game for the 16th seed. I don't even remember who either one of us had, but it doesn't matter. Madison Booker's coming to town, and when Madison Booker comes to town, it's over for everyone.
Yeah, I had for context, I had Missouri State and
I
you
had Stephen
had
F. Austin.
yeah, you had SFA. I think Texas is I don't think we have to spill a lot of ink on this one.
No, we're good here. Oregon
SEC
and
champs.
Virginia Tech, the 8 versus 9. Winner of this one gets the opportunity to get absolutely waxed by Texas in the next round.
Damn.
Oregon, 3.5 point favorites. I think I'm rolling with the Ducks. Katie Fizo has had a really solid season, 15 points, 6.5 assists or so. I'm taking the Ducks.
Yeah, they're an efficient shooting team from the floor. They're 34th in the country in field goal percentage and they make free throws. Their defense is not the best. Kind of tough. But Virginia Tech does not profile as a team that is going to necessarily take a huge advantage of that. So I'm going to roll with the Ducks. But it's an 8-9 game, so it's hard to pick. I
Right, we
don't
got.
think they're going to get obliterated by Texas, but
I think so. We got Kentucky and James Madison 5 versus 12. I am taking Kentucky in this one. Claire Strack has had a really solid season, averaging a double-double, 17 points, 10 rebounds for the Wildcats there. Much as it pains me to say, Kentucky's got this one.
yeah, James Madison, Peyton McDaniel is really good, 19 points, 7.5 rebounds per game. Kentucky did kind of struggle down into the finish of the season. They lost 8 of their last 14, but then won two SEC tournament games before a non-competitive loss to South Carolina, who also had beaten them right at the end of the season. In a much more competitive game. And so I'm going to go with Kentucky. A lot of their losses were pretty competitive. 1 point to Vanderbilt, 11 to Texas, two to Tennessee, two to Vanderbilt. I think that they can hang with some teams, and I think that's going to be enough for the James Madison matchup.
Right, we got West Virginia and Miami of Ohio. Shout out to Miami of Ohio with that Maction over
Yeah, I
there.
love the small schools that are doubling up.
It's really cool to see because there's a close bond between the two, and it's awesome. I love it. I'm taking West Virginia, not because of their leading scorer, actually their second leading scorer, but their leading rebounder, Kiera Wheeler, senior, shooting 51% from the field, efficient season from the post there, and I'm taking the Mountaineers.
I'm taking the Mountaineers because they won the Big 12 tournament, which you want to talk about coming in hot, upsetting TCU and getting that done in the Big 12. That's enough for me to buy you at least one game against a 13 seed.
Right, we have Alabama versus Rhode Island, 6 versus 11. Now, here's the interesting part about this one, Ben. We have 82%, according to ESPN Analytics, Alabama win, but DraftKings is disagreeing and giving Rhode Island an 8 points favorites on here, according to my app.
Do see that.
Uh,
That's got to be an error, right?
I feel like that has to be an error on the other end. I feel like, I mean, if it's not, we need to put some money down.
Yeah, I would like to drive to a state that could take that bet.
I am taking Alabama for this one. I'm taking the 6th seed, and the play at Timmons, honestly, Jessica Timmons has been rock solid. Her 4th year here, she did stumble a bit in the quarterfinal against Texas in the tournament, but did have 23 against Tennessee the game previously. Need her to be more consistent, but I'm taking the Tide.
Yeah, Alabama was 19-3 at one point and then lost 7 of their last 11 games. Not what you want.
No.
Should be enough to beat a plucky Rhode Island squad, I should think. Tim, like you said, Jessica Timmons is really good. They've got it. They've got the talent. Carly Weathers, um, a good defensive complement as well. And they're a top 23 point shooting team in the country. So I'm gonna roll with the Tide, even though by a lot of the metrics that I like to look at, they don't profile well, let's say.
Right. Louisville and Vermont, 3 versus 14. Actually have the same record, 27-7, but the odds makers are heavily leaning towards Louisville, blue blood, and women's basketball. I'm taking Louisville, but I do want to shout out for Vermont, the senior Nicola Priete. 17 points and almost 8 rebounds a game in her senior season. Shout out to Vermont for making the tournaments, but I'm taking the Cardinals.
Yeah, Vermont is a good team statistically. They hold opponents to the third lowest three-point percentage in the nation, and they do not commit a lot of fouls, and they don't turn the ball over. All things that usually give you a pretty good shot, and I do think, I mean, it would be a stunning upset to beat Louisville, who just went to overtime against Duke in the ACC championship. Um, I don't know. Those are plucky things. Definitely gonna go with Louisville. I don't know that Louisville has a superstar, which I think could limit their ceiling. But I mean, they had a really strong season. Obviously, they're the three seeds. So I'm going to go with them in this game, but I don't know. I'm not so sure.
Next one, we got the NC State Wolfpack taking on a Tennessee Volunteers, 7 versus 10. I have to put aside my historical perspective of Tennessee as a program for this one. It wasn't their best season, 16 and 13, playing in a tough conference nonetheless. But I am taking NC State for this one behind the play of Camille Pierre, averaging 17 points and 12 rebounds, 12 boards. That is going to come in handy big time when it comes to the tournament. I'm taking NC State.
So interestingly, these two teams started the season by playing against each other, and NC State won 80 to 77. Has had a much better season, but then also lost to every other ranked team that they played all six games. I'm gonna go with Tennessee in this one. I know that they are not you're not your father's Tennessee, but I'm gonna trust them to get their revenge here. I think they're getting their get back.
Okay.
I don't really have a reason for that. I just, based on vibes.
Last first round game, we got Michigan and Holy Cross, and it's a good thing they're named Holy Cross because all they have is a prayer in this one. I'm taking Michigan all the way.
Boo. I also love Silas Swords for Michigan. Just an elite name. Olivia Olson's their best player though. She's one of the best players in the Big 12. I mean Big 10, excuse me. Shout out to the Holy Cross Crusaders. They are a good defensive team, but I think they're going to be a little bit overmatched by the Wolverines. All
Alrighty.
right, Jesse, you want to take a quick break and then come back and wrap this up?
Yep, that sounds good to
Well,
me.
I say wrap this up. We just finished the first round, but we'll like the men's side, we'll go a little bit quicker now that we've gotten some analysis out there on these teams. So we're gonna take one more quick break, and then we'll come back and finish up. Pick a couple more women's games. I'm excited to see our Final Fours here.
Yeah. And welcome back to the Spillin It pod. Ben, we gotta dress like this more often, man. You and I are both feeling this right now.
Dude, this is what I wear in the summer. Yeah,
Like,
dress.
we're
I'm dressing
giving.
like a whore when the weather turns above 75.
You remember years ago you posted that thirst trap of yourself? You're like,
You're
don't mind
gonna,
me.
unfortunately, you might have to be more specific. I lived a
You
different.
posted, I can't remember if it was to Instagram or what, and you're like, enjoy this thirst trap of me. And I was like, suddenly I'm parched.
I do remember. Suddenly, I'm parched as load bearing in my lexicon. Unfortunately, I lived a different life pre-marriage. No, I didn't do anything crazy. I just did post cringe thirst traps of myself, and like for no like. I had no audience in mind. Normally when you post a thirst trap,
It
you're
was
trying to trap
me.
somebody in particular. I just was like, I don't know, this is quirky. And it's a wonder that I bagged a dime like I did, but you know.
Hey, whatever gets the job done, man.
Whatever
It
gets the
worked.
job done, I guess. Quirked
It
up white
worked.
boy. A little bit of motion. All
Hey,
right,
we both.
Jesse.
Your wife actually sent me something on Instagram. She sent it to our group chat that we have on there.
She asked me if
And
I saw it, and I had not seen it yet.
yo, it made my week. I can't even lie.
I'll have to take a peek.
Alrighty, we got the first game of round two. We have UConn and Iowa State. Iowa State, I love Audie Crooks. I think she has had an awesome career there. I'm taking UConn, and UConn is a freight train that is 6 miles long that I don't know if it can be stopped.
Yeah, they are undefeated, and I do not see um, Iowa State stopping them. Audie Crooks has got as good a chance as anybody, but I don't know that the rest of the team is up to snuff. No offense, Iowa State. You have a good team and you have a good season, but UConn is a different animal, like Jesse said.
Right. This next one, I believe we both had Maryland and UNC. I am
Hmm.
taking Maryland for this one.
I'm also taking Maryland. I don't know.
Nice.
I need to see yeah, I've said this a couple times. I like to see like an alpha that I can trust to go get a bucket when you need to. And UNC is balanced, but they don't have that alpha in the same way that Maryland does with
Okay.
Okananwa.
Next one is Notre Dame and Ohio State. And I know I talked a lot about Ohio State back in the first round. If you want to hear that analysis, just go rewind.
Go back about
Uh,
20 minutes.
Go back about 20 minutes or so and skip over a couple of the random banter that we had. But I am taking Ohio State with this one. I'm actually really high on the Buckeyes for this tournament.
All right. I am taking Notre Dame.
Okay. Okay.
Is this a good pick? No. But I can't quit, so I'm rolling with the Irish.
You had Illinois here, correct?
I have Illinois and Vanderbilt.
I
Yes.
had Colorado and, Vanderbilt. I'm taking Vandy on this one, and I know that's fairly basic. I have what the one, two, three, and five going into the Sweet 16, but this is a different region.
Yeah, I'm taking Vanderbilt. I think they're very, very, very good. And I think they'll be plenty enough for Illinois.
Right. Next matchup we have going into Sacramento 4 is going to be South Carolina, and I had USC here.
I also have USC.
All right, so we both we're the battle. Whoever wins this gets USC, gets the acronym, frankly.
No, that's false. It's always going to be Southern California is USC, and that's why in ESPN it's South Carolina and USC. That's
I
the
do
correct
respect
way.
that. I do respect that. That being said, I'm taking South Carolina.
I'm also taking South Carolina. I think USC had a great season considering the adversity of losing Juju
Absolutely.
Watkins, and I would be very intrigued by them next season. But I don't think this
Yes.
year is the year.
Yeah, Juju's on this team. This is a very different situation.
Yes,
Right. This next one, I had Colorado State. I believe you had Sparty on this one. You had Michigan State. And I had Oklahoma.
I have
So
Idaho.
did you end up taking Idaho? Was
I
that
did take Idaho. Yeah.
okay?
Remember, I was like, I don't really have
Yes, yes, yes. And
I
I
made
said good
kind
for
of a
you.
weak reason and then said it's Oklahoma.
Yeah, I remember that now. It's coming back to me. The concussions added up over time. I'm taking the Sooners for this one, going to the next round.
Yeah, I've got Michigan State. I do not believe in Idaho winning twice. It's really how much that comes down to it. I kind of made a spite pick against Oklahoma, and so I painted myself into a Sweet 16 for Michigan State.
I got South Dakota State taking on TCU for this one. I am gonna roll with the Horned Frogs TCU.
I have that same matchup, same result. Olivia Miles is her, and is going to be her until she meets a bigger her.
Okay. We got UGA and Iowa. I am taking the Hawkeyes, taking Iowa here.
I'm also taking the Hawkeyes. I really like the way they play in the paint. They've got a couple good post players. Um, I like their matchup there. But and they're
Yeah,
much better against top 25 teams. Obviously, they're the number
correct.
two seed. And again, I do think that the way that they played against UCLA, they'll kind of exercise some of those demons in some of these earlier games.
I think so. I got UCLA and Princeton for this next one. With
Yeah,
that being
same.
said, yeah, UCLA has been bulldozing teams, and I think they have a pretty clear run ahead of them for a little bit.
I would agree. Shout out to Princeton, but UCLA, Lauren Betts is her. So she's one of those bigger hers we were just talking about.
I had Ole Miss and Minnesota here. Would you pick Gonzaga on this one?
I did take Gonzaga.
Okay. For this one, I am taking Minnesota. I like how they've been playing.
Yeah, I think I'm also going to take Minnesota. I picked a bit of a hot upset there by picking Gonzaga. I trust Minnesota's reliability a little bit more than Gonzaga, but it could be done. I don't think Minnesota is unbeatable by no
Okay.
means.
I had Richmond taking on Duke. Who did you have?
I have Baylor and Duke.
Baylor and Duke. This is very dumb of me to even consider this. I got to take the Blue Devils. I'm taking Duke.
I'm taking Baylor. I really like their 1-2 punch
See,
of
but that
Scott.
makes more sense. You didn't paint yourself into
I
the
did
Richmond
not paint
corner the way
myself
I
into the
did.
corner. I don't know. Toby Fournier is good, obviously, and Duke is a very good team. They're a three seed. Um, and they're red hot, which means that I'm kind of picking against convention by picking the team that's lost four of their last seven. But I don't know. I just something about it. It's a vibes pick for sure.
I uh I cannot wait for Richmond to lose by 25 in that playing game.
That's the worst thing. Like when Texas gets steamrolled by in the men's bracket, and I'm like, now what?
All right, we got Texas Tech. I think you did you pick Villanova for this one?
I did. I took Villanova against LSU.
Taking LSU. I'm taking the Tigers on this one, LSU.
Again, I hate to see Kim Mulkey succeed, but I don't think Villanova is going to get in her way. So LSU.
Okay. Next one down, I have Texas and Oregon.
We already know how you feel about this game based on the way that you picked the winner of Oregon Virginia Tech by saying they'll get blasted by Texas.
Yep, I should have already penciled it in.
I'm gonna also take Texas. I think I mean, they're a one seed and the SEC champs. I really like Texas.
Okay, I had Kentucky and West Virginia for this one. I'm guessing you
Same.
had
Yep.
about the same. I hate to say it, I'm taking the Wildcats here. Blues winning this one.
I'm also taking the Wildcats. I wanted to get there with West Virginia. They did just win the Big 12. But I'm gonna roll with Kentucky.
Okay, next one, Bama and Louisville for this one. This one's gonna be tough for me. I'm gonna roll Tide. I'm rolling Tide on
Are
this
you
one.
really? I'm also
Yes,
gonna do it, and I have literally no reason other than my
I actually
degree.
do have a reason for it. I think Rhode Island's gonna give them a run for their money. I really do, and I think that battle test right out of the gate is going to help them carry over.
Okay. All right. I think Louisville's a much better team than Alabama, but um, I don't know. They did lose a couple games towards the end, and they don't have that dog, that nut top. Like you can just count on this player to get 20 points. I think Jessica Timmons is the closest thing to that in that matchup.
All right, I had NC State and Michigan.
Yep. I have Tennessee and Michigan.
Walk with me here. Give me the Wolf Pack. I'm taking NC State.
Wow. Shocked. I'm gonna go with Michigan because I don't really think Tennessee is gonna win multiple games, and I think Michigan is their usual stud team. 6 wins over ranked opponents this season. I think they're ready for March.
Right, back up to the Sweet 16. We got UConn and Maryland for me. Is that the same for you?
UConn and Maryland. Yep.
All right. Hide the women and children. I am taking UConn on this one.
Yeah, they're undefeated, and I don't think that ends against the Terrapins. I'm also gonna take the Huskies.
This one you had Notre Dame taking on Vanderbilt. I had Ohio State taking on Vanderbilt. I think this one's actually going to be a decent shocker, even though it's only going to be a 3 over a 2. I'm taking the Buckeyes here.
Okay. Walk with me.
Okay.
Um, Hannah Hidalgo is the best player in this game. Well, I don't know that you can say that. Michaela Blake's is really good.
It depends on
But
the night. I mean, she definitely has the capacity to
I
be.
mean, Michaela Blake is the leading scorer in the nation, but they are playing against Notre Dame. So I'm picking Notre Dame. And
Okay.
again, it's a horrible choice because they're probably going to get bounced by Fairfield, but I'm going to roll with the Irish. I need something to believe in.
Okay. Going down to Sacramento 4 here. We got South Carolina taking on Oklahoma. I am taking the Gamecocks once again, moving forward.
Yeah, it's Cox in this one for me too, as well.
And then I had TCU, Iowa.
Yes.
Okay, I'm taking the Hawkeyes. I know it's a basic Wonder Bread pick here going 1-2 in this region, but I'm taking the Hawkeyes.
This was really hard. This was maybe the hardest one for me pre-Final Four because I like both of these teams a lot. I like
I do
TCU and
too.
I like
I do
Iowa.
too.
I'm gonna roll with Olivia Miles and TCU, but man, Ava Hayden, Hannah Stolke, that Iowa team is nothing to sneeze at. But I am gonna roll with the Horned Frogs.
Okay. Top right, Sacramento 2. I have UCLA and Minnesota. Is that the same for you?
Yep.
I don't think this one's close. I think Minnesota's a good team. I think UCLA is a great team, a
Yeah, I
beyond
think
great team.
UCLA is crazy. I'm going with the Bruins.
And then I had Duke LSU at the bottom of that one.
I have Baylor LSU.
Okay. I am taking Duke on this one. And I think it'll be a close game. I think it'll be one of the better games of the tournament, but I'm taking blue.
I'm rolling with the Bears.
Good
Keep
for
it.
you.
If I'm picking Baylor, the way I thought about it is if I'm picking Baylor to beat Duke, why not beat LSU?
Why not?
Malaysia Full Wiley is really good. Flauget is Flauget, but I don't. Michaela Williams is good, but they don't have that defined dog for me that's gonna go. I mean, Flauget could do it, but I need that 20 point per game scorer, and that's what Talia Scott is for Baylor.
Okay.
So I also like I don't know. I feel like the tendency there are fewer upsets historically in the women's bracket than there are in the men's. But we've started to, you mentioned the parity has gotten is not the same, but it has gotten a lot better.
Yes, it's not the way it used to be,
It's
almost like a,
yeah,
a true pick
almost
over.
straight chalk.
Yeah.
We got a lot of great teams and great players in college basketball right now on the women
Yeah,
in
the
the women.
game just continues to evolve.
And I'm just gonna take some darts. I'm gonna go with
Yeah.
Baylor.
All
I can't wait
right.
to be in the 12th percentile.
Hey, you're either going to be in the 12th or the 98th. There's going to be
There's
nothing
no
in
middle
between.
ground.
We got Fort Worth 3 down here. I have Texas and Kentucky here. I don't think
Mhm.
this one's going to be close. I am taking the Longhorns.
Yeah, Kentucky and Minnesota were two teams for me. That's like I don't know if I really believe in you this much, but I like your draw so far. I'm also taking Texas. Hook 'em, baby.
At the bottom, I think you and I are on completely different planets here. I got Bama and NC States.
I have Bama and Michigan.
Okay. Oh, am I gonna regret this? Probably. I probably should have already regretted it. Give me the Wolfpack one more
I
time.
mean, I like that choice better than the choice you made the previous time. I'm going with Michigan over Alabama.
Okay.
Um,
Which is
I
probably the correct choice.
well, the correct choice is probably Michigan over Louisville, but I'm gonna go with Michigan over Alabama for sure.
Okay. Into the Elite Eight, back up to the top left. I have UConn and OSU. Is that for you, Vanderbilts?
No, remember that's UConn and Notre
That's
Dame.
your Notre Dame.
I don't think I really need to waste any time here. This is where the myth of Notre Dame making this run ends. It's definitely the Huskies.
Yeah, Huskies all the way here. At the bottom, I got South Carolina and Iowa. I believe you have
South Carolina and
TCU.
TCU.
Okay. Give me the Hawkeyes to the Final Four. I'm taking Iowa.
You know, I've ridden with Olivia Miles this long. Let's do it, baby. Give me the TCU Orange
All-time tournament run.
Frogs.
I love it.
Um, sorry, South Carolina. You're obviously a very good team. You're a one seed. Um, I don't believe in you as much. Joyce Edwards is really good, but I don't know.
Okay, top right here, we got Sacramento 2 region. I got UCLA and Duke.
I have UCLA and Baylor.
Yours is a much easier pick than I think mine is here.
Yeah, mine is definitely UCLA. Again, Baylor is again also kind of on that like Notre. I think they're a little bit more credible than Notre Dame, but I ended up with two six seeds in the Elite Eight for some reason.
I legitimately think this could be an all-timer in the tournament, this game. I'm taking UCLA, but I don't feel great about it.
UCLA over Duke. All right, Jesse. Fort Worth 3, the bottom right of the bracket. I have Texas and Michigan, and you have Texas and your North Carolina State Wolfpack.
Okay.
It's truly the unstoppable force of Texas versus the immovable object of your obsession with NC State.
Walk with me.
You're not gonna do it. Has an 11 seed even made? What is NC State? They're a 7 seed? Okay, no.
First time for everything.
Are
Give me Texas.
yeah, you coward. I knew it. All right, Jesse, that makes my final four. 1 seed UConn, 3 seed TCU, 1 seed UCLA, 1 seed Texas. What do you got?
Mine's the exact same except for TCU. I got 2 seeded Iowa.
Okay. All right. So you have UConn, Iowa,
Yes.
and I have UConn, Duke, or TCU.
I think this game will be the first big test as far I think maybe in the Ohio State game for UConn, maybe the first like 15 minutes or so were a little back and forth, but I think they ultimately pull away. I think this game will actually be closer. I think it'll take until the fourth for them to start pulling away. That being said, I can't pick against UConn in this scenario.
Yeah, I also took UConn here. In my bracket, they literally, I mean, no disrespect to Maryland, but they literally have not been tested until the Final Four,
No.
because I put Notre Dame way too far. Yeah, give me UConn. I think they're pretty unstoppable, and I don't think that TCU is getting in that way.
All right. We both have UCLA and Texas for the other Final Four
We sure
matchup.
do.
Who do you have?
Those are two really, really good teams. They both are led by dominant post players in Madison Booker and Lauren Betts. But Texas is hungry. They're hungry, and they've been there before. So is UCLA, but I want Texas. Give me Texas.
I'm going to disagree with you here. I'm taking UCLA on this one. And we're getting two ends of the country on this. I think it'll be a great game. I have absolutely no doubt about that, but I'm taking UCLA here.
Okay, so you got UCLA and UConn, and I have UConn and Texas.
That is correct.
All right, Jesse, you've got your two teams. Who's coming out with the trophy? Who's cutting some nets?
Man.
It's tough, I know. You got yourself a banger of a final right there. I mean, we both do, but
I'm going back and I need to see who the one loss. I don't know if you know it off the top of your head who the one loss of UCLA this season was.
I can tell you in 1 second.
I'm looking through their schedule right now.
They lost to Texas in November, but they lost in Austin in November.
Give me the Bruins. I'm taking UCLA.
All right, wow, he's picking UConn to lose. Their one loss coming in the championship. You're picking a one loss champion. Well, UConn is a pretty dominant team. It's hard to see a path where they don't reach this game, at least the Final Four. They're a very, very well-rounded team. They've beaten a lot of the best teams in this tournament: Louisville, Ohio State, Michigan, Iowa, Notre Dame, of course, clearly. But you know who they haven't beaten yet? Is Texas, and they don't do it. Hook
Texas.
'em, baby. Look, they shocked the women's college basketball world. Not shocked, but surprised by beating South Carolina in the SEC tournament, and I think that's a wave that they're just going to ride all the way to glory. Um,
Okay.
Madison
So
Booker
neither one of us.
revenge season,
What are the odds on neither one of us picking UConn?
probably decent because neither one of us wants to pick the overwhelming favorite. Because that makes for poor content. Um, but it is interesting to me that we each chose different champions,
Yeah. No, we got to the same place, but different outcome there.
different face. We're in the championship. All right, well
All
that's
right.
the men's and women's brackets. That's exactly how it's gonna go, folks.
Yep.
If you have an impossible 63 leg parlay you want to throw down, just put $1 on both of our brackets and one of them will hit.
Guarantee. Well, no, I can't guarantee
I
that.
could guarantee it. We have no oversight right now, so yeah, I
That's
promise you.
fair. That's
You
fair.
will win millions. And remember the little podcasts when you do. At least buy our Zoom. If you make money off our
Just
podcast, at
please.
least buy our Zoom.
We are begging. Oh man, my eyes are bleeding now. Oh gosh. I haven't taken these off in a couple
I think I'm
hours.
gonna sleep in these.
I might. Bro, I am
I feel
feel. I
like
want
a
to wake up like
kingpin.
this.
I'm ready to like run the coasts.
We should do another episode. Like I'm feeling it right now.
Now let's just keep going. What else can we talk about? No, I do need to wrap this up here. Jesse, as always, a pleasure. My goal is to put this out tomorrow, Tuesday, March 17th. Hopefully, you will hear by the time you hear this, Texas has not already lost in men's basketball. Would be pretty fatal for me. Um, but you know what? It's been a pleasure, Jesse. I can't wait to have just absolute dog shit brackets with you. Um, and yeah, we'll get another episode going next week. And yeah, we have a few things already cooked up that we've kind of postponed a little bit that we will likely drop in that episode. But for now, just enjoy the most magical time of the year, which is the opening weekend of NCAA tournament, men and women's.
All right, y'all. We will see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.
Adios.